Tim Geddes, what are you doing here? It isn't the PSX panel.
No, it's not. I'm here to talk about our sponsor, Crunchyroll. So here's the thing. I thought it would make sense for me to be here because I'm the anime guy.
And you use it.
Group. Yeah, me and Nick, we've been using it. We've been doing some watch-alongs. You can find those on youtube.com/kindoffunny. We watched the first episode of Yuri on Ice. We watched the first episode of Kill la Kill. Fantastic. Really into this. So here's the deal. Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
You asking me questions, Greg. You're like, what is this Crunchyroll?
What is Crunchyroll, Tim?
It's anime. It's a place you can get a whole bunch of super cool anime. And
some of it released 24 hours after it airs in Japan. I beat you to the bullet point.
I
remember this,
all about it, Greg. Crunchyroll.com/kindoffunny gets you a free 30-day trial of Crunchyroll Premium. What does Crunchyroll Premium get you? It gets you all the newest episodes as soon as 1 hour after they air in Japan via simulcast. All episodes ad-free in 1080p HD, and you can enjoy it across all the devices, your PlayStations, your iOS, your Rokus, all that stuff. If you haven't seen School Days, I recommend it. It's quite a head trip, as the kids say. Yuri on Ice, it's going places for damn sure. I want to hear what you have to say about it. Let us know in the comments of this video, because I'll go through them one by one. Look through the comments.
You'll find the Yuri on Ice comments?
I'll find the Yuri on Ice comments.
Now, for the head trip on the first one, is that similar to like the Magic School Bus?
No, it's very different than that. Especially and very different. Anyways, crunchyroll.com/kindoffunny. Get your free trial. We're going to be doing more live watch-alongs where we watch with you guys, so please let us know what you want to watch. And yeah, until next time, that's all I have for you, Greg.
All right, let's do a show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 62. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Trending Gamer of the Year nominee 2016, Danny O'Dwyer.
Senpai.
Thank you. Let me tell you, you got to start begging for votes. You're not begging enough.
I know, I'm not. In fact, you're doing more of it for me. So thank you so much to all the Kind of Funny community for really rallying behind this. I'm still shell-shocked.
Yeah.
I was not, look at the names that are on that thing, right?
I know, right? Boogie.
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye.
Totally.
Yeah,
Two of the 5 are Irish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How about that?
It's about time you guys had some
I know.
comeuppance.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I did not take that. That's a Conor McGregor
Well,
thing.
I'm aware. I know. I know
right,
you didn't come up with that.
No,
Come on now. TheGameAwards.com. You can go vote for Danny. What's the hashtag? Because you can just hashtag it on Twitter, right?
You can. They had it broken for the first 4 hours. So if I don't win, it's on you, Jeff Keighley.
Keighley, you son of a bitch.
It's I should notice. I think it's
this
TGA.
is what I'm talking about.
TGA Danny O'Dwyer, I think is what it is.
Okay.
I think. Pin tweet.
Pin tweet. There
Down
you
that
go.
pin
Or
tweet.
you just go, TheGameAwards.com and vote for Danny. Danny, how are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me. As
Please,
ever.
it's a pleasure.
It's great to be here. I've been in an editing hole for the past couple of weeks.
You're working on Doom right now?
Yes.
Okay, of course. Bring everybody up to speed. If somehow they missed this, you are Danny O'Dwyer, formerly of Gamespot.
Video games. Actually, videogames.com actually now goes to Giant Bomb. So,
Gertzman!
I know. How dare you? Although, appropriate, really. I used to work for Gamespot.com. That is correct. And then I saw, largely informed by what you're doing. I'm like a couple of years behind on you.
Just
the trendy gamer thing.
Yeah.
Next, I'll be getting my pet surgery.
Yeah, I was gonna say, be careful. Don't let your cats or dogs jump off the back of your couch.
I worked there, and then I left 2 months ago now. It feels like a lifetime. To start No Clip, which is basically a crowdfunding video game documentary production house. So we make not paid for by publishers. We go to publishers. No advertisers. We go talk to them. We make sort of long formy type documentary shorts, let's call them, about games, and then we stick everything else up on that channel, like extended cuts of the interviews, and then patrons get behind the scenes stuff, and it's great. We put up the last of the extended cut interviews yesterday. So the Rocket League documentaries, there's 2 of those. There's 3 of these basically 2 hour extra long interviews, and people are really liking it. And
Dude,
what's next is Doom.
The Rocket League documentary is awesome.
Thank you so much.
If you haven't gone to youtube.com/noclip, get over there, go see it. So good.
/noclip video.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Yeah,
Could not get
you can just search No Clip and it comes
true.
up. Yeah,
It's like Game Over Greggy.
Yeah,
It's like
it all gets the same way.
Channel names
it's all
and shit.
Pipes. Yeah. It all gets there in
Just
the end.
shout at Alexa and it'll come up.
Alexa Ray Curation. She's like, why are people screaming? I left this industry for a reason. I'm not even on your side anymore.
Let's talk about Crunchyroll.
Yeah, we actually, funny story. We just did. That was the ad that opened the show.
Awesome.
It's all
It's a small industry.
One circle.
That's how it
Exactly.
works. Yes.
No, your Rocket League one was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
And it was a great one to come out with, I think, to start with, too.
Kind of worked. It was
Yeah.
like similar kind of like, I don't know, like what they were trying to do was trying to like create this weird type of game for like 10 years and like a sort of a rags to riches kind of success
Sure.
thing, which in a way kind of mirrored what I think we're doing with No Clip, which is like, this is the type of stuff I've always wanted to make, and people really, the community grabbed onto it.
Passion.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I think we always share, you know, I mean, for you and I being on this side of the industry, right, where we're talking about what happens in video games, that's always the common ground when you talk to a developer, right? You know, I mean, they have a passion for what they do. One of our friends was asking me the other day of like, he's getting ready, it looks like maybe to jump out of video game journalism or the press, the enthusiast thing, and go to that more. He's like, why didn't you ever do that? And I'm just like, my passion isn't making games, my passion is talking about and playing games.
And I was always scared that eventually, because you know what the through line is that you end up working in, and plenty of our friends work in PR or they work
now
in
community management.
Community management. Some end up being producers, like Greg Kasavin, Gamespot ended up, you know, making some wonderful games, programmer as well. And like I'd come from the world of programming. That's what I taught, and like web programming and stuff. And I knew it wasn't for me already.
No way am I going
so
back to that.
So I was like, all right, I got to figure out a way of like doing this that's like not just sustainable for me personally, but also like that. Like I struggled so hard to get, you know, I was like, struggled so hard to break into the industry that the one thing I wanted to do at least was that by the time I have to get out of here, to leave it in like somewhat of a better position than when I first came in.
Sure.
And that's what I felt like. Nobody was doing this sort of stuff. And it's like, if I could have somebody basically be like the sort of explorer of these stories and go out and tell them, like the Doom one is why I'm so excited about, because people have been wondering what the fuck happened with Doom for like years, right?
Yeah.
And like, we're gonna be like showing stuff that we're not showing everything, but like we're gonna be like telling the story from the developer's perspective that would never have been told otherwise, because developers are terrified of interviewers,
of course.
But like in this like setting, the game is out. They know they've seen the Rocket League one. They know we're not like scalpers for like sexy headlines. They know we're there to like tell the story not the way they want to tell it. That is a fine line.
The way it happened.
Yeah, the way it happened, authentically.
Yeah.
Right, without no press spin. And I think the Doom one is a really good example of like, there would be no situation in which, at least on video, the story would be told otherwise. Sure. I feel like written word in games coverage has been great for years, but I do feel like
that's been disappearing, right? Like that's
totally
the other thing. You know, I mean, that's, you know, Colin, you know, he'd do the history of whoever, these giant pieces,
right?
And then the mandate, not in a bad way, would be though, okay, cool, what's the most interesting things that happen? All right, put out an article before that with that headline linking back, you know, you try to, because the audience doesn't necessarily want to come in. And that's what's interesting about what you're doing, is the fact that you got a taste of that at GameSpot, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to do some of these things. You did a whole bunch of great video content there and long form stuff like this, but not nearly as in depth as this, at least so from what I've seen so far. You know better than me. And the fact that, whereas you couldn't probably do this giant Rocket League documentary thing at GameSpot and have that make sense for them financially, because they are a business.
Yeah.
When you break away and we all start going off to make our content piecemeal, the audience gets to vote and decide, and they get to sit there on Patreon and be like, no, here's the money we would give you.
Right.
That GameSpot would want to put that into some other project, some other piece.
Yeah, and then they'd let me know like how, because then that's like a really malleable thing. Like that Rocket League thing could be twice as long and take twice as long to make, or it could be half as long, and I get to have that like one-on-one feedback with the audience in a way that's so much more authentic. Like creatively, this is the most exciting time I've ever had in my entire life.
Sure.
Like it's also like the hardest working,
of course,
the least amount of sleep, and probably the most stressful.
Sure.
But it's like the best.
Yeah.
It's like it's everything you told me it would be.
Exactly.
Like 9 months ago.
What's funny to hear you say it's been 2 months, but it feels like, I mean, that's the thing. I remember this time last year being here, not here, obviously we're in the spare bedroom, but I mean, being at Kind of Funny and talking about it, blah, 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 and like Game of the Year. Oh God, this time last year we worked at IGN. You know what I mean? Like this is 2 years ago right now. We are working at IGN, and that feels like an alien world. You know what I mean? Like such a different reality that's so close, but it feels so far.
And I'm looking forward to being that year in more than anything, because so much about what No Clip is doing is like a promise that there's going to be this vault of like kind of oddly evergreeny, because we're not making that much stuff, but we're making hopefully stuff that's like, and shout out to Jeremy, I say we because Jeremy J, my producer, is incredible.
What up, Jeremy J?
Absolutely. He sent me the color grades about 30 minutes ago of the Doom stuff, looking great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like, because we have all these like not deals, but we have all these like plans and trips proposed for the next like 6 months, and they are so exciting. But don't want to talk about these things till they're done.
Sure.
So a year from now, I'm looking at like what the hit list is and being like, oh my fuck.
If we actually get all this done, right?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting to get them out. So I'm looking forward to
I
getting
can't
the
wait.
Doom one out. Rocket League and Doom, 2 hot games available on a PlayStation console.
Exactly.
near
Yeah.
you.
See what you did there? Synergy with PS I Love You XOXO. But so for real though, with all the work you're doing on this, because it is just you. I mean, it's you got 2 guys, and then you have contractors, or you have people that are helping you out, or is it just you 2?
It's just the 2 of us.
How are you playing games?
We
Do
have
you
like other people to do like motion graphics, but
Sure,
that's all
sure,
like
sure.
one-off stuff.
Right.
Every once in a while.
Do you have time to play games? Are you?
I have more time to play games now than I ever had at games.
Really?
Because like I can like be way more efficient with my time now.
Yeah.
Like one example, my wife works like an odd week. She doesn't work a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So before, like, I would have to like, she would be, you know, the day off during the week that she was not working, I can now take off, and now I can work on the weekends where she's away instead of just sort of being on my Todd and not knowing what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
And then when it comes to the work stuff at GameSpot, it was like, all right, you go in and like Mondays are the perfect example. I would go in. Nobody goes into the office because it's San Francisco until like fucking 10 o'clock, 10:30, right? And then, you know, we have a meeting, and then it's 11 o'clock, and it's 11:30, and it's 12, it's lunchtime. And like now on a Monday, I've gotten up at like 8:30, and I wandered to my office. It's like 20 yards away.
Yeah.
And by 11 o'clock, I have like done every email I needed to do. I've like started like on the rushes. I've like exported the latest live stream to my own YouTube because I'm doing my own little YouTube stuff as well.
Sure.
For fun. And so like I've so much more efficient in my work that I have so much more time to play games.
Nice.
And I'm playing games. I'm playing new games. I'm playing loads of games on my PS4 at the moment. I'm playing games on my PC a lot. I got an N64. I never owned an N64 in my life.
I saw you when you announced that and I was like, holy shit, that's crazy.
It was so much. I'm playing through Ocarina of Time at the moment on a live stream, and it's like I never have time to do that, and it's great, and it's like informative to me, and it's fun, and it's like what it feels like I'm in college in a weird way.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I'm pulling like 50-hour work weeks, but like I still have all this extra time I didn't have before. So I love it. Like it's strange. Whenever like I would go on someone else's podcast and talk about games, if it came out here or I went on Giant Bomb and stuff, I'd always have this like 2 days before I'd be like, oh, I gotta make sure I like
play something
to talk
have
about. Something hot.
Yeah.
Whereas like yesterday I was like, oh yeah, like Titanfall, Watch Dogs, you know, fucking Steep.
Oh yeah, you're doing the beta of the Steep. Yeah.
Played like me and my wife have played more Spelunky the past month probably than we have any game in the past 12 months.
Very nice.
So it's wonderul.
Okay.
Did you find that at all when you left, or
no? But I think that's been the difficult thing for us, and what I like so much about you, because it's always grass is greener situation, right?
Yeah.
Where I look at you and it's like, man, it'd be awesome to be able to commit to one project.
Right.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
is the problem of just like, for us, it's back to back to back to back, and there's no gaps in there. You know what I mean? I've been trying to have this thread conversation on our forums with our kids, and it's one of those where I keep, it's like I'm getting cryogenically frozen, where I'm in there and I'm active and I'm talking to you, and then I'm gone for 3 days, and then I come back in and it's like, okay, I'm responding, and it's because, you know, like before, today was like not the worst, but it was like our morning meeting that we do every Monday, right? Of like, all right, what's happening at everybody's little neck of the woods? All right, that's what's happening. Great. I need to book PSX flights.
Right.
But Colin's gone. I need to get the stories for Colin and Greg Live. All right, we did Colin and Greg Live. All right, now Danny's coming. Oh, right. Colin's not here to get the news for PS I Love You XOXO or the trophies or the thing. So I'm doing all of that on top of it, and it's just like today people have been asking me like, hey, what about this or what about that, like Kevin and Nick, and I'm like, cool, great idea, can you just email me and put it in the subject line, because I'm not going to remember this conversation, but when I get to my desk at 5 tonight, I'll totally remember it, be able to talk to you.
I totally see that, like there's a domino effect that you guys have that doesn't exist with mine, because I basically end up being like a control freak of the whole thing. But then on the flip side, I don't have anyone to offset any work,
and that's the thing, and that's like the checks and the balances of it, right? Because there's more of us, we can do more, but there's not an endless team, you know what I mean? So like as we look forward to 2017, we keep talking about like, we think we have a good plan in place to fix some of our pain points to get us not back on track, like we're off track, but bring it in where it's not as crazy. Because there's been a few days in the past month where I have played a game at my desk, and it's like, ooh, that's never happened in Kind of Funny, but here we are where you start etching out, because it's what you're talking about, I think, to an extent of like, I'm a control freak too, and I take kind of funny as a not my cross to bear, but I mean we all live and die for the company, and I am very much of the guy like
You got the team on your back.
when I know something's wrong, when I know that we need to address something, I can't not address it. I need to jump in there, and then that becomes another thing to worry about and do all this different stuff.
And that is easier, I think, when you're on your own because you know that it's on me, and I'll do it later. It's not like there's all this other stuff happening and I don't have time for it. Like for instance, like now I look up my Patreon page and it doesn't reflect where we are now at all.
Oh sure,
because the like when I was here the morning of when we launched it, and like it went past to the top tier that I was expecting.
Yeah.
And what that does is it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. But also it's like, oh, I can change the business plan. Like we can go for things we were going to go for before.
Yeah.
So like now we've planned we've trips to Japan that are already like on the very near horizon.
Yeah.
That like were never going to be possible.
Yeah.
Unless without like 6 months of it and being able to put money aside and whatnot. So like that's one of the things I look at it and go, it looks like I'm doing one thing, but I'm pitching another, and I hope people know that like we're actually using this funding and it's XYZ.
Sure. And that's the biggest thing, I mean, for us that I think our audience is great about, you know what I mean? The best friends, as we call them, is the fact that like, we have the best intentions and they get away from us so quickly. And like our Patreon page, right? Like in January 5th, our anniversary, we try to make that
My birthday!
Hey!
Great.
Both of us born on the same day.
I know. It's my anniversary too.
We try to make that kind of funny day. And like last year when we did that, it was very much like, hey, cool. And me personally being like, I'm going to be better about being on Patreon. And I have not been. I've been a little bit better. And I've got great people out there helping me, like Amy and her friend or whatever.
Amy Gills.
Yeah, Amy Gills, what up? Another Irish one there.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Here to take over.
It's there, and people understand what's happening, and like they give us a lot of rope. But then when they do feel we've neglected something, they're quick to tell us, and that's what I want. Because I want. It's what we always talked about. Is like Patreon is your feet to the fire. You know what I mean? If you don't like something, you have a very clear mechanism to tell us and vote with your wallet, and we have to try to fix that.
Yeah, reading all that has been like very, interesting and it's scary, right? Because like I still have like every YouTube comment, every edited, deleted, new pledge, every single one gets a little notification, and I should probably turn it off, but I rather have my feet to the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
I rather know than not know and be able to react to it.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's funny, right? Because I feel like, especially when I was in the press and we talk about things like Kickstarters and things, and you think about people stretching goodwill as much as they could.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that with the amount of goodwill that exists on that, I can very easily see how people would do that.
Sure.
And us being people who like would never in a million years even think about stretching it the tiniest amount, it is super important to sort of have that honest one-on-one communication. And it's one of the because I'm terrible about emails and stuff like that. The patron message thing is like, because I'm lucky, right? I don't have a separate forum. I've got a Discord chat and we talk in there and stuff. But there's not that many points of contact. You guys have a lot more. On your Twitch stuff as well and everything else. That is the one that I have like, okay, if I don't respond to these it used to be in like 5 hours. Now it's like 48 because there's like so many come in. But like that's the one that I don't neglect more than anything, because if somebody's got something they really need to complain about, that's where they are.
And that's been the thing with us, is the fact that our community is awesome, but it is fractured, where it is like the Facebook kids are the Facebook kids, and the Reddit kids are the Reddit kids, and the forum kids are the forum kids. And it's like they're all doing awesome stuff together, but the problem is that, when somebody's mad about something in Facebook, it doesn't necessarily get transferred to my Twitter.
Right.
And so by the time somebody's like, hey, by the way, this is happening, like, what? Oh, and you get over there, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, no, we weren't ignoring you. I'm sorry. It's just this, that, and the other. And we keep having to do the 2017. Like, we have plans. Just give us a little bit more. Just not time, you know what I mean? Because it's not, we're stretching the goodwill. It's just trying to make everyone understand that every hour of the day is accounted for. Yeah. Not to mention then it is something like you made a joke about it of like, I'm there and I'm talking to you on Thursday and I'm having this really detailed forum thread, and then I pick up Portillo on Friday and my day is done. I'm shutting down to worry about this right now and try to take care of this. And the fact that like it's just real life intruding on your professional life, which is my professional life is my personal life. My personal life is my professional life. And we talk about so much more than video games here. And it's just a never ending, everlasting gobstopper of content.
And I think that's where I'm lucky with No Clipping Away. Although I do all the streaming stuff, but it's nowhere near as sort of 360 as your guys' stuff. But like at the end of the day, I'm making like very, I don't know, it's about one game and it's one thing. Whereas you guys are talking about politics and your home life and all this sort of stuff, and it must be harder to wall
it's that
that
thing
off.
of just like, you know what I mean, of like And I'm not at all complaining. I love this job and I love this company. But yeah, last night I was like, I'm going to go to bed. Well, I should watch Westworld. Right. I want to be able to keep talking to people. I want to engage with the best friends about Westworld because they're talking about that. And then it's like, I'm feeling guilty because I'm playing so much Watch Dogs 2.
Right.
Danny O'Dwyer, I fucking love Watch Dogs 2. But it is that thing of like, I turn on my PS4 and I'm like, there's that Time Machine VR game on the cross media bar and I still haven't touched Robinson. It's like, oh man, and Dishonored sitting here in its Steelbook. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'll get to those eventually. Like I have to be like same thing with the content, right? We can only make the content we're passionate about. I can only play what I'm passionate about in that second. That's what it's got to be.
And I think that both of us probably had that exact same responsibility feeling in our previous jobs, but it was to the company, not to the fans, or at least that's what it felt like to me. Was that like now it feels like it's at least in a good place. Like it makes sense to me.
I mean, like I understand what you're saying there. For me, it was I wanted to be able to help anybody I could help, and I wanted to be able to, if we're working at IGN, which is this source of information and this knowledge base, like I want to try to. And it was impossible then; it's impossible now. But if something comes to PSN, I want to know something about it. Whereas like now, there's so many games on PSN, and also that's this is something that happened with the PlayStation 4 Pro launch, right? It's not really our job to review everything anymore or do it or have we have opinions about it, and I'm basing my opinions on facts and friends and articles and reviews, and like do I need to go out and play every PSN game, every PlayStation 4 Pro to be like, nah, you know what I mean, not for me right now kind of thing. Who knows?
It was really weird. We had the patron hangout on Sunday. It was super fun, just like 2.5 hours of shooting the shit basically, and somebody asked me what my thoughts were on the EA sponsorship like watermark thing that they're doing. Do you know about this?
I haven't heard about this now.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't.
What are you talking about?
Could you tell me what it is and I'll let you know what it is. And like before, that was like right in my wheelhouse of games coverage and ethics and all that sort of stuff. And the fact that I felt kind of bad. I was like, ugh.
But it's also liberating, right?
Totally.
Like it is that thing of like, I'll say something on Colin or Greg Live and the Twitch chat will correct me. And I'm like, oh, right. Well, again, it's this weird thing of like, we're not breaking the news we're telling you, right? Like we're here to commentate with you and take our years of expertise and our personalities and apply that all to it. But what you deem that job, and I'm talking about from like what I'm an internet personality when somebody asks what I do, right? And it's like, that's a weird thing to say, but I'm known for video games and I like video games and people like my opinions on video games, but I don't play every video game anymore. Yeah. And people aren't coming to me like, hey, where's the Dishonored 2 review? You know what I mean? They're more coming to me as friends and being like, you're going to like this game. You should play this game. Why aren't you playing this game? I'm like, I'll get to it. It's a weird life now.
The world of games coverage has totally changed. I think this podcast is a really good embodiment of that, where there is no ubiquitous like this is what a gamer is anymore. Yeah, and that kind of was before. And the only division you would kind of have was between did you buy Sega or Nintendo, right? Or you're one of those weirdos that an Amstrad or an Amiga. But like it was. Now it's just so broad that like to expect people to have that like that cross-platform.
I remember those days at IGN, man, when you did know everything and you did play everything and you had an opinion about every big. And then when it just all exploded, where it's like, like when Game Awards came out and it was time for us to nominate who should be on the nominations, because Kind of Funny was nice enough to be a judge or asked to be a judge this time around, and like there was like categories when we got to like the game of like a game for social change or whatever, and we'd like maybe 2 submissions out of the 5, and then you get it back, none of our submissions made it, and we're like, fuck, I need to play these games. I haven't even heard of these games. Like, where are these games hiding? Because you go to PAX and you see these things and they're doing that, and it's like, all right, I think I have a window, but even the window is such a small keyhole. You miss so much that's happening out there.
And the same is true of coverage, where you've got a really healthy audience, like loads of people on all these different platforms. I have like an audience that it's only me, and I feel like, oh my God, that's so many people, and it's awesome that they care. But then, I was with Rooster Teeth folks a couple of weeks ago. I was down in Austin, and like they've got their own thing going on. It's GameSpot and IGN, and like all over the place. And like I think even breaking away has allowed me to see just how many people are on so many different platforms are like engaging with different folks.
Oh, totally, right? I mean, I remember the first time I met Rooster Teeth.
Right.
And it was that thing of Tim's like, do you know who these guys are? I'm like, I've heard of them. I've heard of Red versus Blue. And then you pull back that curtain and see how huge they're. Like, holy shit, how did I? And then it was the same thing of like, Boogie. I knew the Francis character, and then you meet Boogie, he's an amazing person. You look at his reach, like, oh, fuck. And then like even this year for Trending Gamer, it was like, okay, sure, Angry Joe,
Lyric's on there.
Lyric. I'm like, who is Lyric is huge. Okay, my bad. Sorry, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Because that's how it gets to work. And it's the same way whenever I meet someone outside of our industry and they're like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm an interpersonality. And they're like, oh, you're like PewDiePie. I'm like, not even remotely close. I'm like, to a very small group of people, I'm a big deal. To everyone else, I'm fucking nobody. And you know what I mean? The fact that I've been around, it'll be
Hey, you're trending gamer 2015.
That and $2 and get you a cup of coffee. All right. But that's the whole thing of like, you know, if you're in that, not even if you're in that world of gaming, if you're in my very specific PlayStation wheelhouse, you might know me and you either love or hate me, probably. Right. Whereas like if you're outside of that, like PC gamers have, like that was one of my favorite things about like life on the outside, right? Yeah. And you know it too from going to do NoClip, but before that of like, I remember when I would go to a Naughty Dog or to a Sony Santa Monica or to any of these places, and inevitably developers would come up and be like, man, I listen to your podcast while I work. It's so cool. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. That's crazy. Your games inspire me, and here we are, you know, able to get you through days. And when I went and did the Civ 6 coverage, right? I walked in there and blank fucking faces. All these PC guys were like, who are you? And I'm like, oh, I did this. I'm like, I do Kind of Funny. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, I used to work for IGN. Like, oh, we kind of know. You know Steve Butts? I'm like, yeah, I know Steve Butts. That's a weird one. Sure. Like, you know, Steve Butts isn't the one. And then it was their testers. Right. 2 of their QA people came over and were like, oh my God, we're here testing the game. We know you. I'm like, oh, thank you. It was weird to be here on a PC game.
That is strange, though. Yeah. They're like weird wheelhouses.
Yeah, it's these micro communities now but they're the communities that are so awesome and passionate that they can support us and make this happen, support you and make your thing happen. And that's the other thing that's been crazy for us getting to Patreon early, you know, before a lot of people did, is like, it was always that in the beginning, it was that thing of like, oh, it's awesome that Easy Allies is going to go do this. And that you're going to, and I remember those early days when somebody would go and we'd be like, all right, watch the numbers here. We're going to drop here. We're going to drop. And it never happened. And inevitably the numbers seem to go up because it's like, you're bringing in new people and then they're like those, you'll see our kids who are supporting you be like, oh, Kind of Funny is awesome. They'll go for that. And then vice versa. And everybody
you guys were like a huge gateway drug for me into Patreon. Like I support like, I think 8 or 9 different creators on there before I started my own one. And yeah, it was like, of course, because once you're in the ecosystem, it's like, oh, sense. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that was the biggest hurdle for us when we first started, is that nobody knew what this thing was.
Oh yeah.
And what am I signing my credit card up for, and what's going to happen, and how's it going to work? And yeah.
It's really weird.
Well, Danny,
should we talk about PlayStation?
Might as well. This is no, we were talking about video games. It's all in the same thing. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. It is kindoffunny.com's PlayStation podcast. It is the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet, and it posts every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Rain or shine is one big MP3 and a YouTube video on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or kindoffunny.com for short. Housekeeping, go vote for Danny, thegameawards.com. He needs you to become this year's trending gamer of the year.
We want to fucked me on that speech last year.
I know, right?
You fucked everyone.
No, they'll be fine. If Boogie gets up there, he'll fucking knock it out of the park.
God, I love that guy.
You're going to get up there, everybody's going to be like, what's he saying? Yeah. I can't understand the accent. What's he? Oh, yeah, that happens no matter what. That was like the funny thing about winning the trending gamer thing. Right. Is like, I won it, I came off stage, then the emotion set in of like, holy shit, this actually happened. And I checked my phone, like 64 messages from friends across the street. I'm like, this is awesome. And then I go to Twitter and like, obviously it was overwhelming supportive, but then there were so many people saying like just one I was like, sorry you're getting so much hate. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you searched it and it was so many thousands of tweets of who is Greg Miller or who the fuck is Greg Miller. Just like not adding me. They legitimately like, who is this guy? Why didn't PewDiePie win? What is going on? I'm a Markiplier fan.
It's amazing.
Also remember that PSX is happening. It is happening. Yes. The weekend, that first weekend there of December, we have a live panel for PSX. So Saturday, they'll do their PSX press conference. We're going to stay behind here in Kind of Funny HQ, give you your pre-show, your live reaction show, and then a post-show breaking it all down. That'll go up on the PS I Love You XOXO threads and forums and YouTubes and MP3 services. That'll all be live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. The post-show archive for you. Then Sunday, we're all flying down to PSX. We're doing a panel at noon. It'll be there. PS I Love You XOXO live with me, Tim, Colin, David Jaffe, and a bevy of PlayStation faces you will want to be around to see. Then directly after that, we're doing a meet and greet 1 p.m. on site at PSX. Sony at the time of this recording hasn't confirmed the exact place, but obviously we'll be there. We'll tell you. I think they're going to lead us right over so you can just follow us and we can all take photos together. And
outside the Bevmo.
Outside the Bevmo. Well, please, we go to Portillo's. Portillo's right there, Danny. You got to go.
You got to get some hot, drawn to death scoops.
Yeah,
from Mr. Jaffe.
I bet it's going to come out during PSX.
You think?
I think that's
Are
one.
they that close? I guess are they in like
They've gone
beta?
quiet. They were doing that shit.
Yeah.
We've bitched about it a lot on the show. They did that.
Right.
Then they went quiet for a long time, which is probably going to be good. Then they came out, got the bad news out in front that, hey, we're charging for it now.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
yeah.
they're going to be a real game. And then they went quiet. And I think it's going to be that they're going to come out and be like, all right, cool. We're charging for it. Here's everything you're getting. And it's live right now.
Do you think they're going to announce the what else do you think they're going to announce at PSX? Do you think the changing your username is going to be there?
Yeah. I mean, like we make that prediction literally every
Oh, really?
PSX or
Okay.
E3 that it's time. It's got to be now.
Did you see the leak from
Yeah.
the Epic or from the Unreal Engine thing?
Yeah. And we've talked about this in passing a few months ago now. An insider who
Right.
we can't confirm it or whatever sent us a PDF of a presentation that looked really, really real.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, this is on track and we're gonna announce it at PSX. But like,
Cool.
Again, we're not news guys, and it was like, we've heard this once or twice.
Yeah, exactly.
We've always thought that. But yeah, I think that'll be it. I think you'll see Drawn to Death. I think they'll announce Uncharted DLC there, like the
Cool.
single player DLC. But we'll have PSX predictions next week. Don't worry about that. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be Roper's Report. You gotta go do.
I can't. It's
Why
not
not?
my thing. It's not my thing.
Time for some singular possessive news. Danny, hold on.
This isn't usually your gig.
No, not at all.
No,
I'm just the funny man. You get to be
Yeah.
the funny man.
Okay.
Danny, there
Try my
are
best.
8 items
8
on Roper's Report.
Count them.
Now you gotta say, scream Baker's dozen.
Baker's dozen.
There you go. Nailed it. You're gonna be a hit with these kids.
I know.
Number 1, Danny. Uncharted 4 is getting a co-op mode called Survival. You can play it co-op or
Okay.
solo. It's got challenges. You build your own arsenal. It's got 50 waves. And then, from the PlayStation blog where Naughty Dog wrote, every 10 waves culminates in an intense boss battle, including our all-new pirate warlords. There's 10 maps. It will be playable at PSX.
So it's horde mode.
It's Horde.
Co-op mode makes it sound like, yo, you get to play single player. You can be...
No. It's definitely a horde mode. Let me
Okay.
give you the longer explanation, okay?
Do it.
Survival is a wave-based mode where you and up to 2 additional friends can take on swarms of increasingly powerful enemies and unique objectives.
1 to 3.
Yeah.
So what is it? Okay.
You can play it solo or you can play it with a
3.
total of 3 people.
Okay.
You're gonna. We've built upon what they did in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 and evolved the core gameplay experience with an entirely new level of depth, challenge, and variety. From new enemy types and powerful new bosses to a dedicated progression system, an expansive, upgradable arsenal. Survival is all about strategy, camaraderie, and skill.
Camaraderie.
Yeah. Marty over at IGN had the exclusive preview as of this recording.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he says that the way they're breaking it up into it's 50 waves or whatever, 10 at a time though. It feels like there's good like checkpoints in terms of like you're not just doing this forever and ever and ever. From what I saw in the trailer they put out, the pirates look cool. It's the Libertalia guys,
cool.
It has like skull dudes running.
So it's
that
like one
commercial.
map. It's like this is the...
There's
this is
10
the-
maps.
Oh, right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No, it's fine. Don't worry. It's all just getting delivered to you. You're very tired. It's great. You've been editing nonstop. Yeah, it's not enough to draw me back in. I'm not stoked about
Right.
it. Like Tim and I were talking on Colin and Greg Live about doing a Let's Play of it, of course, but I'm not a big multiplayer guy. And so even Horde mode, I've enjoyed my Horde mode here or there with the gears, but I'm not in the mood to start a new one and do anything.
No, and it's difficult. Like Uncharted 4 multiplayer, I thought was fun, but it's like any multiplayer thing. Unless you have a group of people who you're playing with
Yeah.
on the reg, it's kind of difficult to keep doing it.
Sure.
For me, horde mode is the same kind of thing where like I really like playing horde mode on launch because at least you've got enough people who are kind of in that ecosystem
Yeah.
already. And this, to me, I haven't seen how it plays yet, but like I would actually be more interested in doing a sort of a horde mode equivalent in Uncharted than I would be going back to play more multiplayer. But I'd also... I need to find now 2 people to do it with. And if I
Or
don't...
you just play it by yourself, nonstop.
Horde mode, I think, is one of those modes that, like, because I enjoyed the Gears for Horde mode stuff. I thought the way they sort of like mixed that up with the, having the whatever it's called, the toolkit creator thing,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like banking all the guns and stuff. I thought like that was a cool evolution of a concept that we've kind of has become a little bit trite. Like Gears
100%.
1, we know what a Horde mode is now. You got to mix it up a little bit. And I feel like okay, if they're doing that, that's cool, but I don't know. I'll put a tweet out and see if anyone wants to play with me, and if they don't, then I
I'm
probably
sure
wouldn't
no one
bother.
will want to play with you. Yeah. Yeah. No, the thing about what I've read, in passing from Marty's thing, and I'm clicking it open here to see, is that it sounds like saying horde mode is selling it short in the way
Right.
that there are bosses.
Oh, it's like a single player. It's like more
Well, not
narrative
that.
to
It's
it.
just, I think there's more to it than what Horde mode would suggest of just wave
Right.
after wave, where there are the bosses, there are the upgrades, there are building out your arsenal, actually getting better equipment. There is a reason to play it over and over and over again, whereas, not even just that you're on the same thing, right? Like not on the same map on nonstop or whatever. But yeah, you see what he's saying. This is Marty over at IGN. I really appreciate that Uncharted 4's 50 waves of co-op are broken up into 10 separate 5-wave chunks. This alleviates the feeling that you have to devote a giant chunk of time and experience the whole thing, and allows you a bit more progress if you have a brief window of playing at time.
Okay,
so I think you
like-
can save and leave is what he makes it sound
Right,
like to
that's
me.
cool. Because
Yeah.
like for instance, the Gears one is also, there is a boss after every 10 waves.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it kind of feels like they're truncated that way, but you can't leave and come back. So yeah.
If you play it solo, you have AI companions, so you're not like on your own just
really?
getting screwed. Yeah.
Okay, I'm back in now. Because I'm definitely that loser who I like playing with friends. Like Rocket League is a good example of a game I like to play with friends a lot. But like most of the time, I'll play a game on my own. Like I'll happily play Fallout for like 500 hours.
Oh
or
my god,
Witcher
no,
or-
that was yesterday. Like it was my first, my
Watch
mom had
Dogs.
been in town. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jen had been in town. Everybody was gone, so it was just me and this broken dog. And I sat there and played Watch Dogs all day long.
Right.
And it was that thing of I was so much fun. And then at one point I got hit up to join just a party of other friends who were playing but not play the game. We were all playing Watch Dogs but
Yeah.
not playing together.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I hopped on with Scott Lowe and actually did like
cool.
2 hours of co-op missions, and it was fun. But even then, I'm like, I want to get back to progressing my story and doing all these different things, because that's where I feel like the most
Yeah.
commitment.
Can we talk
to
about
everything.
Watch Dogs 2?
Yeah, sure. Oh, how about this then?
Okay, here we go.
How about a seamless transition?
Do it.
Second item now, because of this question, on the Roper's Report.
Baker's dozen.
Thank you very much. Watch Dogs 2 is going to be,
A video game.
yes,
A
but
movie.
the launch sales are lower than they were last time around.
Then Watch Dogs 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
No surprise there. But here, again, IGN.com, they hit up Ubisoft, asked for a statement. They got one here. We're incredible.
They walked four streets
They
down.
just walked down. They hit up. They knocked on Stone's window. We're incredibly happy with critics and players' very positive reception to of Watch Dogs 2, which should bolster support for the long-term success of the game. God, I'm screwing everything up. It is true that the first day and first week sales for a number of big games, including Watch Dogs 2, and titles from our competitors, are comparatively lower than previous versions in previous years. However, we expect both week 2 and week 3 sales to be above traditional sales patterns. There is a trend toward games, especially high-quality games, having stronger and longer tails as favorable reviews and word-of-mouth spread. Watch Dogs 2 is already considered a tremendous addition to the open-world action-adventure series, and we're confident that millions of players are going to love it.
This is something I've heard from, like, I don't know if this is a trend that like PR people are talking about or if it's actually accurate, but especially from like going off and doing these interviews and emailing people and stuff, this is a trend that I've heard from like easily half a dozen different games companies over the past
That
like,
release
2 months.
is starting to matter less and less.
That the longer tail. So, like for instance, last week you guys, we do the rundown where you say like, oh, this is how many games got sold. I know Rocket League came up, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's amazing. Rocket League's in there, right? So, like Rocket League has sold more in the past 6 months than it did the first 6 months, which is
That's crazy.
You're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
how does? And that's not just like in terms of like the money they get. I'm sure from their crates and all that. Like just sales, they've sold more. So. And the week 1 stuff, I've been hearing a lot about this, and a lot of people have been saying, okay, it could have something to do with the fact that, embargo reviews, there's sometimes less of them on some titles, or that people are now listening to YouTubers and Twitch streamers more, or that sometimes it takes even the YouTubers an extra 2 weeks to get their eyes on something that's really resonating.
Yep.
Like they listen to trends, then they like signal boost those trends, and then people are like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how popular things like early access are now. Like people aren't the week 1 launch thing isn't as big as it used to be, and I think especially in Q4 when there's so many games out.
Yeah.
Like when did the first Watch Dogs I don't think came out during this period. I'm in my
Well, it got
head.
delayed, right? Because it was going to be a launch title for next gen, and they got pushed back.
Was it a February or something?
Something
Or
like that. I'll check
in my
for you.
head, that's where it was.
No, because
right?
you're right. Because it was going to be. Remember, they had the PlayStation 4 bundle because it was going to be there. Because it was
Right.
the first next gen game, and then it got pushed.
And then the same thing happened with Titanfall, which was like, again, Titanfall came out in this like beautiful Easter period or whatever it was, March or something, where there was nothing either side of it.
Yeah, it ended up
And
coming
then
out May 27th, 2014.
Watch Dogs did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like what? Okay, pre E3, like there's usually a little bit of a 1 or 2 games in
Last
there,
of
right?
Us.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and Titanfall, same thing. And Titanfall this year comes out on top of 3
Battlefield
equally good,
1, and then Call of Duty right after it.
yeah,
And then, it's getting...
or sorry, 2 equally good FPS games. Yeah. So yeah, I okay, number 1, PR company's always going to say face.
Sure.
Ask them for a quote, they're going to give you one that spins it, right? So
Yeah.
take it with a pinch of salt. But also, yeah, I've been hearing the same thing.
It's one of those, I don't think we're there yet where you can be like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I do think that we're moving towards it. And I think what you see with Bethesda's review policy, right?
Right.
That was very much the same thing. And I think Bethesda's wording made it seem a bit more like thumbing their nose at traditional IGN and GameSpot, right? And I think that they mentioned reviews in here, but in reality, I think what they're talking about is the Twitch streamer, is the YouTube
Right.
person, especially for a game like Watch Dogs 2, where, here, hold on. I got it in here. Hold on. Because I want to bring up something else. So here's something else, another Ubi story that I have on
Okay.
here. This is number 6, but we're just going to toss it in right
Do
now,
it.
okay? This is from gamesindustry.biz.
Oh, yeah. Brendan Sinclair. Get it
Yep.
done.
Ubisoft moving away from scripted narrative. Now I'm just going to read this real quick article, but go give them the click so you have the whole thing. Ubisoft is changing its approach to story in games. In an interview with French newspaper Le Monde, published this week, Ubisoft Chief Creative Officer Serge Hascoët.
I don't know.
Okay,
How do you spell it?
Hascoet.
I don't know.
Hascoët?
Hasco.
Hasco. You can't. I know all these French words a lot. I know you don't say the last the last letter,
Yeah.
like the last consonant. So we're gonna say
Soft.
Hasco.
Yogging. Yeah.
Said the company will use less narration in its coming games. The first hints of the shift are visible in games already on shelves. Hasco has said one of the driving ideas behind the new Ubisoft approach is that each game should be in quote unquote antidote factory. I'm screwing that.
An antidote factory?
No, not antidote. Anecdote factory. I'm powering through that word, but he put that was in quotes. I was very concerned about hitting the air quotes, not so much the word. That phrasing was used by Far Cry 4 developers to talk about the game back in 2014, and also has been used to describe the just released Watch Dogs 2. While both games have larger scripted narratives, they provide players with the freedom to engage in that story or go off on their own.
Right.
And the worlds are designed to allow for unexpected things to happen to and around the player. Hasco said initially the worlds in Ubisoft games should be interesting to players, even if they just want to inhabit them as tourists. For Watch Dogs 2, that meant a San Francisco packed with activities and interesting people. Hasco said the goal is to give players ways to express themselves that will be interesting enough to justify sharing them with friends. While some of the elements of the new approach are visible in current releases, Hasco said the first game to embody the new direction fully will be the next Assassin's Creed. Quote, for the next Assassin's Creed, the designers have created a system in which what I do not only has meaning just now, but also long term. My actions will change the world.
That is very interesting.
And this is one of those things when you talk about Minecraft, when you talk about Rocket League, when you talk about the games that have the staying power that week one doesn't matter, this is why.
Right, yeah.
Because I'm playing Watch Dogs at home and it's the first game in forever that I'm like, fuck, I should probably stream this. Like when I'm playing a narrative game, I don't understand the point. I'm in it for the story.
Yeah.
But when I spend literally 5 hours dicking around, getting research points and key data and like trying to figure out how to get up places, why wouldn't I have that open and talk to people? Let alone when me and Scott Lowe are playing, because like I play Watch Dogs very specifically, where I'm not killing people. I'm hacking. I'm using my brain and my computers and my drone and my RC car. And then Scott and I start playing, and it's like immediately pandemonium because you don't know exactly what the other person's going to do. We're not going to be. So I'm running out the shotgun, just blowing people away.
Right.
He's hitting me with a car, like all, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it is the thing of, I'm going to come here and give you my anecdote.
There you go.
And talk to you about, the crazy thing we did last night,
Yeah.
or how we couldn't believe, getting up there to hack this computer that I had to choke all these guys out. And like, then Scott ran me over with the car we were stealing. Like that is what.
What does the developers always say? Those water cooler moments.
Exactly.
Right?
Water cooler moments indeed. But that is something that I don't think we're there yet, but if trends were to continue, and God only knows because they change so quickly, I think the fact of, it's PewDiePie or us talking to our community or somebody else doing it that matters more than what happened on day one. Because I do think, I was talking to people last night in that group and we were all of the same thing saying, holy shit, this game's great. And does it has no business being this good, especially because it's like, it kind of quietly came out. When I was talking about what I was most excited for, in the second half of the year, I was like, well, the shooters will be fun, whatever, but I'm really looking forward to South Park. South Park is like, fuck. And I was like, well, after Call of Duty, what is there? After Titanfall for me, what was there? And people would be like, watch, like, oh, right, like, I'm interested, but I don't know if that game's going to pan out.
It's like an also ran.
Yeah.
It felt like. Around
Exactly,
this period.
yeah.
It's like what you were talking about with Westworld, right? Where it's like, oh, I better bet on Westworld because everyone's talking about Westworld right now, right? And that's what a lot of those like narrative focused games are, like Uncharted 4, right? Like you want to play Uncharted 4 the first 2 weeks that game's out because everyone's talking about it. You don't want to get the story spoiled, and if you don't, then you go into like hibernation mode on it, and you're like, oh, I'll play it eventually, but I gotta wait until I've got like this like 1 week period where I can fit it in there and cram it in and do all that. And story games are amazing, and I think what happened with Ubisoft was that with the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I know you're not too hot on AC2, right? Like you guys.
AC2 I loved.
Oh, you
Colin
do?
hates
Colin hates
Assassin's
it, sorry.
Creed, period.
Oh, really? Okay.
I loved the Ezio games, with the exception of the last one, I was like all in, totally love. So 2, Brotherhood, and then Revelations was just too much, and it was too much of the same, if that makes sense.
And I think those were very narrative driven. I mean, the first one, incredibly narrative driven. It's almost a fake open world game because it's not really open for most of it. And then when you're even doing the missions, you're doing it the way you're supposed to be doing it. It's almost like a Hitman game. But AC2 and Brotherhood were really well written games with good stories.
You care about that guy. You care
totally.
about Ezio.
And everything that's going on there. Revelations wasn't. 3 wasn't. 4 is when we start to see the open world piratey nature is what people liked about it.
Yeah.
The story, Kenway, it wasn't. Nobody really cared all that much, right?
No, and that's the thing of I think that when we talk a lot in all the fucking shows we do because we just do they all run together about. This is a great Ubisoft game, and it's not that we're saying, but I mean they're almost when you say it's a Ubisoft game, it's a Far Cry, it is an Assassin's Creed, it is now a Watch Dogs, where it is you're gonna get this huge fucking world with a million boxes to go through and check. Oh, did I get the key data? Have I upgraded this tree? Have I done that? And that is awesome. Like you know what I mean? For Assassin's Creed, I liked Ezio a lot, but Assassin's Creed 2, I was so into the gameplay of running through and unlocking the Wolf's Den or whatever they were calling, beating those and going on to the next one. And then when you get Far Cry, I remember being that way too. And now with Watch Dogs, that's the same thing where, like this, we were talking about this in the chat, right? Of like the story of Watch Dogs 2 is like, makes fine sense on paper. We're dead sec and we want to, take down the man or whatever. But it's like, what's the last story mission you did? I'm like, you can tell me the end of it right now. Of like, somebody in the comments over on, because all the questions come from kindoffunny.com/PSQ, spoiled the end of the new Call of Duty for me. I wasn't there yet. And I was like, oh, I kind of didn't want to know that because I do like this for the story. I do like what's happening in Infinite Warfare. And I'm eventually going to get back to it when I finish Watch Dogs. But you can come in and be like, oh yeah, at the end of Watch Dogs, everything gets deleted. They go back to the Stone Age. I'm like, oh, no big deal. I'm more interested in getting everything, and the game hooks. The game hooks me, not necessarily the story.
And I think so. I don't think a narrative can hamper your enjoyment of a game if a game is good. But I think if you've got something like, for instance, like the first Watch Dogs was a game that was trying to do a lot, and it felt like the first version of any game. Like it felt like a first version of Assassin's Creed. Some people loved it. I loved the first AC. A lot of people don't like it, right? But like. When I feel like, I don't know, when a game is that like that and it's frustrating you, and also the story has this like total ass, like Aiden Pierce is one of the least likable protagonists ever.
That was the thing, yeah.
And I think that's what you latch onto, and then the narrative of talking about that game with other people is this kind of like downer moment. Whereas when they have these games that are like the open world fun, like Far Cry 3, right? Like Far Cry Primal, like Blood Dragon, like all these things are just like, the Far Cry 3 protagonist was some dude who's partying with his friends, and then
he starts fucking this chick all the time.
And the dude with the mohawk kills his brother. But like, that's not what the game is about. The game is about going around and like skinning lions and fucking throwing Molotovs at people and shit, right?
Altano and I did a Let's Play for Far Cry. We did a series of them or whatever. And like 5 minutes into the first one, we came upon a cave and there was a tiger in it. Right. And I threw a grenade and he's like, that was a stupid idea, because the tiger's already rushing me. And as the tiger clears the cave, the grenade goes off and he tumbles at us and cartwheels over our shoulder. And like the video is us in just pure joy, like, what the fuck? And it was like, that's all you have to show somebody. Like, why is Far Cry fun? Yeah. Here you go. It's going to be as many hours as you want as just random ass shit like this happening.
And I kind of hate this in a way because it's basically game design as game marketing is what they're talking about. But then like, that's not to say you can't make a game that will, like Uncharted, for instance, which is like the pushing factor for me was the story. Like it was like, I wanted to know what happened. And you're rewarded at the end with an amazing story finale. Like it delivers the story to you at the end.
And that's the thing, nail what you're going for, right? Like the reason you really, I think, encapsulate what the problem with the original Watch Dogs is the fact that I don't even know if I ever gave the gameplay a really great chance, because it was like, this guy sucks. Like, what's he doing? I mean, I played for like 4 hours, but all I remember from that 4 hours is him being terrible. Right. Whereas Watch Dogs 2, what I remember is, the story's bubblegum nonsense, but it's fun bubble. Everyone in the world is having fun doing what they're doing, right? We're this group of hackers who have colorful outfits and get to be, and I literally every time I play, go to a new store and buy new clothes and deck yourself out. And like, I'm having fun and they're having fun in the story. And so then I want to go go have more fun and spray paint more billboards and take down more, do all the different shit. I want to live in that world as long as possible.
And I think a game that sort of encapsulates the opposite of what they're going for that's out at the moment is Dishonored, which is a game which has perhaps, it's a Harvey Smith game, the guy who was designer of like Deus Ex with Warren Spector, right? Like the king of emergent gameplay and all of this amazing player agency and all this stuff. But it is wrapped up in a sequel where you play as a character you played before and the daughter of another character. So there's a narrative like mountain to climb to get into the fun part of that game, and a lot of that front part of that game is also front loaded with narrative and explaining and the normal tutorials you get with that sort of system. Compare that to Deus Ex, which is a game where you start off, JC Denton, his brother comes up to him outside the Statue of Liberty, says, yo, you want a fucking sniper rifle or do you want this taser? You gonna kill people or are you gonna tase them? And then you're there.
Yeah.
And I think like as much as like Dishonored 2 is, I can't wait to play more of it. It looks like a great game. I think they're kind of onto something in that with the narrative of a game, you can kind of, hamper people's ability to at least latch onto it in the first place.
Right. And that's the thing of like, I always call myself a story whore. I play video games usually because I love a story and I want to go what's on. In Watch Dogs, I enjoy the characters, but I'm not really in it to progress, right? Because I want to see what fun joke they have, or the Ubisoft, like the Ubisoft mission or the Google mission they have. They have a lot of funny missions that are cool things. But yeah, when I started that game and it's like, all right, cool, we drop in, I'm into DedSec. This is all like the first 7 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
I'm in DedSec, I'm at a party, I pass out, I have a one night stand, I wake up, and it's just like, what? And it's like, and then like the first mission I took was like, hey man, this new trailer dropped. We gotta come over and watch it. I was like, oh, so it's like hanging out with Tim, but we have cool hacker powers. Yeah, totally. This is awesome. Like that sounds like fun.
I wanted to talk to you about this because I feel like we are uniquely like, I feel like Watch Dogs 2 is like broken for me or my experience of it is broken because I'm playing this like, when you're having like a really boring day at work and you just like, you go on Google Maps for some reason.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's 2 hours later and you've looked up every house you've ever lived in, your primary school, the place you went on holidays when you were like 15, like that's what I feel like Watch Dogs 2 is. Where I've played maybe like 10 hours of this game and I've done like 3 missions.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All I keep doing is like, oh my God, it's like I'm walking around because I live East Bay, right? So I'm walking around Lake Merritt, which I like run around a couple of times a week. And like, it's like, this is like terrifyingly accurate.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
no.
Why is it this accurate? There's my wife was sitting beside me and I was like, I have to show you this. And this is maybe the weirdest thing I've ever showed my wife in video games. When you come off the freeway coming into SF from the East Bay, you take the exit that the bus usually takes, it loops around and it goes back underneath the freeway. Underneath that freeway, when I used to work at GameSpot, I'd be stuck there in traffic every day. So I've seen the underside of this freeway.
You're very well acquainted
it's the most nondescript underside of a freeway you've ever seen. There's like a fence, and there's a fence here, and sometimes there's some homeless people that are in tents there, and then there's like this other building, and you come in, and it's identical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
That's the thing is like so many people get caught up in it where like, joking, oh, I went to see your house and it wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. But and like I saw some of my San Francisco friends that aren't in our industry, they like video games and they were like making fun of the map and stuff. But like the stuff they get right, they have so many touchstones in there, just like, holy shit, I know exactly where I am. And this is exactly what this turnoff feels like, or what the ocean beach sign looks like.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or the cliff house.
Yeah, I know. I ran a mission there yesterday. I was like, damn, man, that's weird.
I was like, I got hit by a truck there on my bike. like as I was coming down, I got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like 1-to-1.
You're like, I got to remember how to do that.
It may be, like, I would go as far, and I've done, like, I love this aspect of gaming, and I've done a bunch of videos about, like, how much, like, Liberty City is like GTA. Yeah. And when I moved to California as a big, like, GTA 5 fan, I was like, oh my God, it's the exact same. I think Watch Dogs might be the most accurate representation of a video game city ever.
Wow.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
And there are parts, like, it is dumb that you're in Japantown and suddenly you're at the Golden Gate Park, and the Richmond doesn't exist.
It's one giant Golden Gate Park. Right. It goes the opposite direction.
Yeah. But, like, apart from the parts they've gotten right are, like, creepily good.
I lived down right in front of the ferry building.
Oh, really?
And so, like, when the other day I was driving and I turned there and coming down Market towards it, and you look over to where, like, the Noah's Bagels for me used to be. I think it's something else now. And it's there. And then you got out and I walked across and I walked through the farmer's market thing they have, like the bazaar they have set up before you get. It's like, this is really well done. Like, this is scarily. And even when you're like AT&T Park and there's a baseball thing right outside.
Willie Mays, the statue's right
and
there.
And that was one of the things, being from Chicago, when I played the last Watch Dogs, that was the one that was kind of jarring for me, where I'd go to like Wrigleyville. I'm like, this isn't exactly how this should be. You know what I mean? Not that I have even an inkling of what I'm a suburb kid, like what downtown's like, but like the touchstones I was looking for weren't there, and that also was like jarring of like it's not close enough. Whereas this one feels so good. Yeah. And so you're enjoying Watch Dogs.
I'm loving it, but I feel like I'm loving it in this weirdly like digital voyeuristic like house hunting kind of way. The gameplay is fun as well, and I'm the exact same as you. I've not killed any. Well, you shotgun those people, but I've
it's co-op, that doesn't count.
Right. I've tried not to do it, and I think that's it's good fun. It's a well-made game.
Gus Rocket disagrees with us. Gus Rocket wrote in to kindafunny.com/PSQ just like you can. It says, I'm a big fan of your work, and this week I feel obliged to send you a message. I waited with great expectation for the release of Watch Dogs 2 from Ubisoft, and after more than 20 hours into the game, I must say that I am again disappointed with the franchise. Watch Dogs was one of the reasons I bought my PS4 on day one, and you all know the result of that game. Now Ubisoft worked for at least a couple of years in the sequence of the game, ended the annual cycle of Assassin's Creed to focus on Watch Dogs, and again, I feel that the game could have been much more than it is. I'm having a lot of fun playing it, the visuals are amazing, and San Francisco is faithfully reproduced. But I'm seeing so many problems and bugs during my gameplay that I keep questioning myself if the game was released before it was 100% ready. Cars that disappear, problems in movement, problems in getting in and out of boats, problems with sound effects, and much more, especially in co-op mode, are definitely influencing my experience. Watch Dogs 2 could easily be a 9, but at this point, I can only give it a 7. So my question is, why is this still happening in the video game industry? We see more and more games being delayed, and we usually complain when this happens. However, there are games with a lot of potential being released with problems. Is it so hard for a company like Ubisoft to produce a game with the same quality as Rockstar Games does? Thanks again for your amazing work. P.S. I love you. Gus Rocket from Sao Paulo, Brazil, all the way in South America.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I think the word expectation is the key one on that email.
Yeah.
I came into Watch Dogs 2 with fairly low expectations. It sounds
Great
like
point.
you weren't really thinking of it as a big Q4 game.
I was ready for it to be a game that burned me, if that makes sense. I think Colin and I were both like, we loved Mafia 2.
Right.
Mafia 3 is going to be great.
Yeah.
We're not worried about it. Watch Dogs I didn't like Watch Dogs 1, and I feel like I should have seen more of Watch Dogs 2 already, what's going on. And then like we did a Let's Play of it, and even then it was like, we played for like 45 minutes an hour, and all we did was fuck around in San Francisco.
Right.
And I was like, this seems fun, but I'm still not convinced like the story isn't going to be garbage and make me hate it like it did in Watch Dogs 1. And so it was the opposite, where Mafia 3 were like, oh no. And then Watch Dogs was like, yeah, this is great.
It's weird.
Expectation's a great way.
And I think this is kind of the season of low expectation. I'm not sure if it's because like there was a lot made of what happened with No Man's Sky, and I think that was a big lesson for a lot of people in expectation, like delivery, or not just from their perspective. I think in terms of, I think a lot of the ownership of what happened with that game comes from us as consumers as well, is that we do sort of sometimes get, I don't know, like we too excited about games when we should be a bit more tempered with them. And I feel like,
I think Gus's example is great here, right? Of I bought a PS4 for that
Watch
game.
Dogs, yeah, like
you bought a PS4, never having played Watch Dogs and only having 3 E3s of demos that always look dramatically different.
Yeah. So it's that's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like a lot of people love, like I have really enjoyed Titanfall 2. Mm-hmm. I think my expectations of Titanfall 2 were pretty low. And I think that's why I enjoyed this campaign. I thought the campaign was tremendous. I've not played Call of Duty much yet. Similar kind of thing. I think a lot of people are like really hot on Infinite Warfare because, to be honest, their expectations were pretty low coming off the past like 2 Call of Duties, you could say, like, campaign-wise. Mafia maybe fell on the other side of that, but I feel like Watch Dogs is another example of, they didn't overhype this game. They knew what the fuck they did wrong on Watch Dogs 1. They got touted out in front of E3 audiences too many times. Really fancy looking demos. I think The Division did the exact same thing for them as well, where they said it was one game and it ended up being another game. I think with Watch Dogs 2, they were a little bit more conservative. This probably says a lot about their week 1 sale thing as well.
Yeah. That
like they weren't trying to push this game as the be all end all. It comes out, the AI in this game is fucking all over the place. I don't care. It feels to me like when I play a game like Infinite Second Son, where I'm like, oh, it's a playground world.
Yeah.
We're here to have fun. I'm not worried about the fact that if I electrocute this person, the person standing 15 yards to the left of them doesn't really recognize it, or the card flips something. That's janky stuff. I'm okay with that as a consumer. But that's based on my expectation. That's not
Exactly.
based on this sort of I don't know, what do you want to call it? This like objective appraisal of what games should be. So
If that was happening on Uncharted 4, right?
Oh, yeah.
It would have been like, what the fuck? Because that's breaking the immersion of the game. Whereas this one, the immersion is smash. You know, I was talking to, I think, Kevin about it. Where
we're talking to Kevin?
I know, it sucks. Sometimes he's the only one here. But we were talking about the fast travel system.
Right.
And I'm like, and he's like, oh, how's it working? I'm like, you just hit square on any building you want to go to. He's like, oh, does he get in a car? I'm like, no, they know it's a video game. You just warp there. You're just there. And it's like, all right, great. You know what I mean? Like, you never have to drive, but driving's fun, so you do. And it's the same thing. Yeah, like the playground when I was running from the cops and I was hiding this one thing and I put on like the hacker vision, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so people started investigating and I'm just watching this one guy walk towards me and then just whoop. And just right in like into the core of the earth. I'm like, all right, I don't know. He just went right. He's gone forever. Whatever, no big deal. I succeeded in the mission. I'm fine.
If that happened in GTA 5, you'd be like, oh, come on.
Exactly. It's whatever you want out of that world.
So it's weird.
Now, it's funny he mentions, though, that we get mad about delays. Number 3 on Roper's report. Persona 5 has been delayed again.
Yeah.
April 4th, 2017. The silver lining here is that fans are going to get dual audio on PS4 and PS3, so your Japanese voice track. It will be free DLC.
I thought it was like it's coming out in stereo. We're not going to go mono. You can actually hear.
You know, this is why we're delaying it, to make sure this happens. No, you get the Japanese voice track. It'll be free DLC.
Cool.
That'll be out day and date. I think it's just the way the game's already probably been put on disc already, that they can't just put it on there. And you get
it's a shame.
a playable demo at PSX, which is news.
Right.
Because nobody's been playing that one.
When was it supposed to? We were pretty close, right? Because I know people who had like orders in.
Right.
For this.
No, that was the thing. I had a huge wing bet with Alexa Ray Korea last year. Is that right? Because it was last year at Extra Life. She brought all those wings, right?
It was the year before that, but like made good last year.
Oh, she made good on it then.
Ah.
So yeah, it was one of those things that they've been dodgy about this release date for a while.
Right.
And so, but it did seem like they were finally committed. It's going to be Valentine's Day. Everything's going to be great.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And then no, and it sucks because it's already out in Japan. So it's like, oh man, we gotta wait even longer. But the thing I'd like to argue with Gus is he says, you know, we get these games come out, they're not perfect, then delays happen and we get mad about them. I don't think it's people getting mad about delays as much as it is people getting disappointed.
Yeah.
It's I just want to play Persona as soon as possible, and so I'm not mad at them for delaying. I'm assuming they're delaying because there's something wrong. Something isn't on track. I'd rather them take the time to not have people fall through the earth, because Persona is a game for me that is immersive story. I'm having these relationships with people. I don't want there to be some game breaking bug when I go to the Velvet Room that then locks me out of this relationship.
Right.
So
and Gus talked about why can't everyone make games like Rockstar. Talk about studios delaying games.
Yeah.
Rockstar have delayed. I can't think of a game they haven't delayed in the past number of years. And I think like Red Dead 2 is a perfect example of, they say it's coming out Christmas next year.
Will it?
Will it?
Yeah.
When it comes out, it'll probably be pretty solid technically, and hopefully it'll be as good as their previous couple of games. And we'll have another classic on our hands. But like, if it's not, then they'll probably delay it. And then, you know, hopefully it'll be quality wise up to scratch.
And I mean, the big part of it too is I think maybe people just pulling the trigger too early on putting dates on everything, because dates push pre-orders, which pushes revenue, which does this, which makes it look better to the board and investment and and it's like, I mean, you look at Persona and I'm not I'm sure I've fooled you. I don't have a good business acumen. So I don't know if maybe like putting the Persona date on where I thought I was originally going to target, but then with the whole Sega thing was going on, they wanted to look better and more approachable and healthier investment.
They've pushed it into the earliest you can be in Q2 now as
exactly,
well. So there's a money reason.
Exactly. There's all these different reasons to why games get moved around, because there's the business side of it. But yeah.
Maybe the silver lining, perhaps, remember the silver lining, but another positive aspect of what Ubisoft is saying in terms of like, if day one sales aren't that important, then maybe pre-orders aren't that important. Because that's literally the only reason for that stuff, is to make sure that, you know, with the rise of digital sales, it's always going to ease that, because so much of the pre-order stuff has got to do with the relationship between the distributors, the publishers, and who they're distributing the physical copies of the games to. Getting copies of the games in. Getting pre-orders means they can like try and sell more boxes to the stores, so they'll have more store space, so they'll have more of a marketing push. Like, there's all these other things that happen which don't matter to most of us, right?
Sure.
And if we're now talking about digital sales being like 30% or something of the honeypot, when like a couple of years ago it was like 5%, right?
Yeah.
If that's happening, then hopefully there's less of that sort of scalpy nonsense going on. At least that's what I kind of hope, because I'm not super much of a fan of pre-ordering games. I think that contributes to this whole problem of expectation management and slippage and all that.
Yeah. And it's that weird thing of like, there was a question back here that I think I actually X'd as we were going. I think it was Dave here. Hashtag Squid Dog.
Squid
his,
Dog.
His kind of funny forums thing.
Ow.
But he was talking about the fact of like, yeah, that games sell. Colin always says games sell best within the first 2 to 3 weeks, but that's not a great system, And he says here, so what can be done to change this culture? And I think the thing is continuing to buy games, not pre-ordering games, waiting until you get your reviews or a trusted personality you agree with, or your friends say they played it and they like it and this is why you should buy it and go out and do that.
And part of this on the developer side is the fact that they are, like we're talking, Uncharted have added in their sort of
survival
mode, right? A really good example of this is Grand Theft Auto Online, which has made them a shed load of money.
Yep.
And you think about that game came out 2 years ago,
and it's still
3 years ago.
It's like you're talking about those charts. It's consistently on those charts, and this is what we're talking about. Is if you can have something going where every day a new gamer looks at a YouTube video of the Achievement Hunter guys playing Grand Theft Auto Online, like fuck it, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna buy Grand Theft Auto just to play that.
And there's something about, I don't know what it is, but there's something about the evergreen nature of those games, like Minecraft, right? Nobody looks at Minecraft and says, oh, that's that game that came out 6 years ago, right? But you look at like, I don't know, take your pick, like the first Tomb Raider game. Like no one's going back to play the first Tomb Raider game because it feels like an old game because so much, maybe it's to do with the marketing around it and it feels like it's a 2000 and whatever it was, 13, 14 game.
Oh, you're talking about the remake? Okay,
yeah, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Sorry,
Yeah,
not old school.
No,
PS1.
So you're talking about just Tomb Raider, period.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider is the new one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Rise of the Tomb Raider. What was the other one called?
Just Tomb Raider.
Oh, it was just called Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
The one that like the
the
okay.
the reboot
Yeah.
and the ponytail and
So there you go.
Luddington, yeah.
Exactly. Camilla Luddington, Tomb Raider. That
The Luddington universe, we call it.
and that comes out like the LU. That came out like years after those types of games. And like Rocket League's another example, right? Like I don't look at Rocket League now and think, oh, that's such a 2015 ass game.
Yeah.
They've added so much to it, and it's kind of, there's no face to it and there's no marketing spin to it that it feels like, I don't know,
This is what-
more evergreeny, and Watch Dogs 2 is like that too.
We're always talking about games as platforms.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that I used to talk about it at IGN. Like if I didn't have to review and cover everything back then, I would have been like primarily playing DC Universe Online and then AAA stuff, right?
yeah.
Because I loved that universe and that game. And it's the same thing. Yeah, when you meet a Rocket League player, that's a Rocket League player. That's what in Minecraft is the same way. WoW is the same way. And certain games like in Grand Theft Auto Online is the same way. Will Watch Dogs be that? We'll see. I don't know. Especially because multiplayer is still broken. Which it's funny that we don't even mention that. Game's so much fun. I'm having all this time. Oh yeah, seamless multiplayer is still completely broken.
Too many games I had to play multiplayer.
But it's that thing of like, I don't know people who are really looking for that. Like I'm going to do it for the trophy. I want to, I think I'm trying to platinum Watch Dogs. I always say I'm going to platinum a game and then get pulled away and never get back to it. But like,
stop tapping that mayonnaise jar.
I did that already. That's done. Please, I got that taken care of. Please, I did that twice. I got it on PS4 and
Really?
Vita. Oh yeah, I'm a horrible.
It's on Vita as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Cross buy 99 cents. You get 2 platinum trophies out of it. That's money.
Stop it. Stop upselling this
Just,
idea.
don't worry. There's another terrible game somebody wrote in about.
Okay.
But yeah, like, that's the thing is if you can get people on that thing. And how do you change the culture? Don't pre-order and then reward developers you think are doing right.
Yeah.
Like we always bring up, Colin and I on the show, that we're lucky we get all these games for free, right?
Right.
When I get a game for free, whether it be The Witcher or whether it be Watch Dogs, and I get into that game and really, really fucking dig it, I buy the season pass.
Right.
And it's one of those things of like, I wanted the American bandana and like the American, all the shit he had, right? And so like, it wasn't even included in the season pass, it turns out, because it was convoluted. But I bought that again too. It's one of those, I don't know if I'll ever play the season pass stuff, but I was enjoying it enough that I wanted to do that. I did that for that. I did it for Witcher, and I did it for Division. Now, my obviously experience and why I'm doing that is different than yours, right? Those developers didn't get any money from me from the game. Maybe they, maybe you guys hear it and go and buy the game I'm talking about. But that for me in my head is like, man, you guys are doing it right. Yeah, here you go. Like I've put in so many hours into this and I really dig it. Will I get to that content? Probably not. Like Witcher, I never even finished the fucking real Witcher campaign, let alone Blood and Wine and all that stuff. But it was like, fuck yeah, here's the money. I believe in what you're doing.
And it's so funny when I talked to Marcin Nowinski and those guys over at CD Projekt a couple of years back, like the idea that they were releasing all this stuff for free, the 21 free piece of DLC they said, was this alien concept. And you talk to them about it and they're like, they grew up like distributing games behind the bloody wall, in Poland, like back in the mid to late 80s. And like, they're like, of course you want to add added value. It's no skin off our teeth to like make this stuff and give it available to people. And it's like the difference you have between that and and this has nothing to do with the developers, Turtle Rock, but like the way that Evolve was marketed, that goodwill goes a long way. And like back then it seemed okay for it to evolve to do what it did, and it seemed crazy for CD Projekt to do what they did with The Witcher. And now we're living in a world where it's changing, and it's changing because people who play games got vocal about it and stopped buying into that nonsense, and hopefully we're going to have a much more sort of gamer friendly marketing for games in the future as a result of that.
And you can look at those communities, right, and see the same thing we were talking about with our communities, right, where the Witcher community is the Witcher community, and it's like you may have played that game and been like, all right, great, and moved on, and there are people. I'm on the sub to the Witcher Reddit,
right?
So every day there's new cosplay and new this and new theories and new comic strips, and it's like, people are fucking all about that, and it's part of that is the fact that it's the same way they feel like they're in the ground floor with us, that we're good people giving them good content. CD Projekt Red puts a thank you note in their fucking game to people. You know what I mean? Like that goes a long way with people.
And in a weird way, I'm trying not to make everything talk about NoClip, but in a weird way, that's what makes what we're doing.
TheGameAwards.com Trending Gamer 2016.
That's what makes like us doing crazy retrospectives so much more palatable as well, is that like the Rocket League community went crazy when we did this stuff. That's so cool, because it's not like we're just posting like for instance at GameSpot we'd like post gameplay clips and whatever. It's like they're not going to care about gameplay clips. They've got way better gameplay clips of them playing. But like this sort of like curated thing, now we have this world where there are communities like that for individual games that are long lasting.
Yeah.
You know, look at The Division. You know what I mean? Like look at all the like Destiny, look at Alfredo. Like look at what's happening here with like people who are like just so into one game.
Yeah.
And before you could have one of those and it was called World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And now there's like dozens and dozens of them.
Yeah, and it's awesome. But then you get those micro communities. But yeah, like especially for you, when you can go do a documentary about them, those people are going to come out of the woodwork to support it. Yeah, you know,
so
we did for the new Sonic game, right? We did an exclusive Let's Play or whatever, revealing some characters, and that Let's Play went through the roof because all the Sonic people came out and they're like, "Oh yeah, totally. Thanks for showing us new content." You know, it's awesome.
And there are probably communities you see like getting dumped on.
Sure. Yeah,
by
exactly.
everyone, you know
by
what I mean?
Colin. Yeah. Number 4 on Roper's report. This is a quick one.
Okay.
Time says PlayStation VR is one of the best inventions of 2016. The quote reads, "In order to access the most cutting-edge virtual reality, people typically have to shell out thousands of dollars, not just for the headset, like the $800 HTC Vive, but for a computer that's powerful enough to support it. Sony's PlayStation VR, by contrast, is designed to work with a console that millions of people already own, the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on PlayStation VR? We never talked about it.
I'm not used much of it. I don't own one yet. I own a Vive, but to that point, I had a friend. Happens all the time, right? Is that you know when you have people over who don't play games, and then when the Wii came out, right?
Sure.
Every person that came over to your home,
You got to try this.
Let's play tennis.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's your grandmother, whoever, right? So the thing is happening now. Whenever we have somebody over, we have to clear out all our bloody furniture and then stick them in the sweaty headset and give them a go. Usually doing the archery in like the Steam Lab thing.
Sure.
And we one of our friends over, and she played this thing, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is like within 10 minutes." She was like, "This has gone from like will be a weird thing to I need to buy this for my family." And she was like, "How much is it?" And I was like, basically including like postage, you're talking, and tax, it's $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Whoa, okay, that's a lot." And I said, "Yeah, and you also kind of need to have a PC that runs it." And her son, when I built my PC earlier, I guess almost a year ago now, I cobbled together all the parts of my old PC and I gave it to her son. And it's not like it'll play like, you know, Skyrim and Fallout 4 and stuff.
Sure.
But it's not like a beefy machine or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, would it play on his machine?" And I'm like,
no, not
"Sorry,
a chance in hell.
it barely works on mine. I just
Yeah.
got a 1070 a couple of days ago, and now it actually does work properly." So yeah, it's a huge barrier to entry.
Yeah.
But one of the things I said to her is they don't actually own a PlayStation. When I said if you own a PlayStation, you'd be within $400 of an experience, which is not as good as the Vive, but is like
Not bad.
It's like 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
But some people are saying it's like half as good, but I feel like you actually get quite a lot out of it.
I mean, I agree. We're big PlayStation VR fans here. My mom just came to visit, and we
Right.
did a Let's Play here that'll be up on Wednesday, Kevin. I'm gonna
Uploading, yeah.
oh, well, yeah, but we're not going to put it live in the middle of the night, right?
Why not? No rules.
Yeah, but because then it's just the eyes on it. You know what I mean? People expect our content at 9 a.m., but
Yeah,
this show sucks up all the oxygen on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
So then you got to
Yeah.
put. You don't want I don't want to compete
Don't
on
want
the
to kind
YouTube
of program yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, it'll be up Wednesday on kindoffunny.com. And no, that was the thing of her thinking it was going to be goofy or dumb or whatever, and then putting on and being like, this was actually really cool. Like you can see her turn, and like it's the same thing. Like I think we all do, where she's like, oh, my hands, and she's like, oh, the floor, and like all the little things before she even gets into the game to be a part of it.
Right.
It's pretty cool. A couple weeks ago, we asked, what are you doing? Are you still using your PlayStation VR?
Yeah.
Because people had kind of stopped talking about it. We got a response here from Junior Jackson, who says, hi, Colin and Greg.
Hey,
You're
what's
calling
up?
for this one. There you go.
Hey, what's
Perfect.
up? Hey, what's up? I'm Colin Moriarty. That's not his accent. That's a Dave Lang accent. I was hey, what's up?
Fuck, boy.
It's godlike.
Last week's episode, you asked us to write in if we were still playing PSVR, so I wanted to get my take on it. I've been playing PSVR since day one, and I jump in as much as possible. I spend at least an hour on it every day trying new games or playing ones I already purchased. One thing that my family and I have found very entertaining is playing the Playroom VR together. I hope some PlayStation VR users and PS I Love You XOXO listeners check out this game to play with their families. Love from Colorado, Junior Jackson.
I mean, it's like, I feel like if you haven't used any of the other, it's like anything else. It's like if you come and your first Tony Hawk game was Tony Hawk Underground.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it, and it doesn't matter that there are other versions out there that other people think are better or
But they
whatever.
were wrong. Thug was the best. We all know.
It's like, and I'm not so sorry. I'm not trying to like dump on the PlayStation VR. Be like,
No, not at all.
it's funny. You're having fun with your, like, again, Dave Lang for some reason. You're like your shitty version of the VR experience, because it's not. It's not. It's actually like for. I think the reason Time are like rewarding it is for the money that you're spending.
Yeah.
What you're getting out of that thing. I think the value proposition on PSVR is better than it is on the Vive.
And that's, I mean, you know, I play it up obviously on the internet and on this show and everything else, but like I legitimately don't like PC gaming because it's too complicated.
Right.
Like my life is so busy and there's so much shit going on. The last thing I need to do is, I'm finally gonna sit down and play this PC game and be like, wait, what's wrong? And everybody's like, just leave it on and updates. And I'm like, it doesn't though. And I understand that works for you. For some reason, God hates me.
Did
And
you grow
that's
up
not-
playing PC games?
No, well, I mean, a little bit here and there,
Right.
but like, you know, I was pretty much always a console guy.
Yeah.
And then it just got away from me. And then now where we are, it's just like, yeah, I don't, you know, machines can't do this, can't do that. But the fact that, yeah, like I wanted to plug and play, and like, don't get me wrong, my PlayStation VR has been sitting over on the side of the on the coffee table for a while, because I'm just like, before Watch Dogs, I'd look at it and be like, I don't have enough time to justify the setup to move the table, to do this, to only sit there and play it for 10 minutes. That's not enough. And I kept putting it off.
Yeah.
And so now I have this stack of VR games, and I'm like, all right, holiday break. You know, like
Right,
Thanksgiving
exactly.
before I go to Kevin's. I'm going to sit there and do this if I've platinum Watch Dogs, if I haven't started Dishonored, and da-da-da.
And I think that's where they're probably gonna, like, people are gonna, like you said, there's a lot. The people wait until January to play certain games, and they wait until Christmas to play certain games, and
Yeah.
the holidays or whatever. And I think what's going to be interesting with PlayStation VR is I wonder how they're going to sell when people have Thanksgiving, and suddenly there's that whole shared, you know, room thing that happens at Thanksgiving where you're hanging out with your parents and
Yeah.
hanging out with your cousins and you're showing everything. And this is going to be the perfect, I guess, upsell, like Christmas purchase for a lot of people who already own PlayStation 4s.
Right.
And there's loads of games on it. I mean, again, the games on it are more expensive. That's just a, you know, sad byproduct of there being a smaller install base for that type of stuff. But if you own the place, if you got a PSVR at launch, right, and you got a couple of games, then the beautiful thing is, like, in the next month or so, you're going to have you know, maybe a bit more cash because you've just worked a couple more months, or maybe I used to get like money at Christmas a lot from like uncles and aunts and stuff. Like, and then you'll have more fun experiences with the games you haven't had a chance to pick up yet. You know what I mean?
No, that's the thing we always talk about again, where it was like, we stopped talking about PSVR in a really in-depth, hands-on way because, we had all the games. You know what I mean? Now new games are coming, but like people bought this $400 headset in 2 games. So like, you've played Batman and Job Simulator. Maybe you haven't played Rez. Maybe you haven't played the other ones. I don't know the other ones. You know, got hung up.
Played the 3 games.
I was like, did I say Job Simulator? But you know, there's things to get into and do different things with, and that's the thing is it spreads out more. It'll be interesting though, how much effect Thanksgiving has, because for me that's when I always talk about with Wii. When I brought my Wii, when my mom came over for Thanksgiving and I had the Wii, that was the first time she did. And she's like, "Oh, I want one of these." I was like, "You do? You've never." And then we that was her Christmas gift, and that happened.
That's awesome.
All over the world that year.
By the way, she also like tweeted out for me to win the award, which I thought was the sweetest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Big old Jamie Kennedy got your back.
She's an incredible.
Mom's pretty
Lovely
cool.
person.
Wednesday, kindoffunny.com. Number 5 on possibly the longest Roper's report of all time.
Nice.
Resident Evil 7 Collector's Edition is coming.
Oh, yeah.
$180, GameStop exclusive. You get an 8-inch Baker Mansion.
You get a house. You
replica that serves as a music box and has LED effects and plays a sample of Aunt Rhody. Do you know what this is?
What's Aunt Rhody?
I don't know. Tim and I were asking this today too. We didn't. It must be a song. Yeah.
It's like a creepy children's
Probably,
thing or
something we should know. You get an exclusive metal case, a lithograph of the Baker family, a creepy note from a resident of the mansion, and a VHS tape box to hold a USB that looks like a finger.
Oh, really?
A severed finger that you have to plug in.
I was in the VHS tape.
That's what it is. It's a finger now.
It's a severed finger. What was it called? Aunt what?
Aunt Rhody. RHODY.
RHODY.
RHODY.
Aunt Rhody. It's a song. Although it's funny, the first thing that comes up is Aunt Rhody Resident Evil when you. Yeah, it's I don't know. All you get is links to the Resident Evil subreddit like immediately. American folk song.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
You're excited about this?
It's creepy. I think I am a fan of having your special edition, collector's edition, be as ridiculous as possible. I think you should. I hate when they softball them and they end up being like kind of janky and broken and rubbish. Like, sure, if there's somebody out there who's such a Resident Evil fan that they cannot wait to spend $180 on something, so make it worthwhile. So I think the house is perfect. It's like. I hated when Call of Duty did the like, we're giving you a drone that doesn't work and night vision goggles. It's like, no, give me something that I can put on my shelf that lets everyone know that I'm an idiot who shouldn't be allowed to have money. Like, my house is full of that sort of stuff.
Sure.
So I think that's a good one.
The good ones I can think of, like, Uncharted 2 Fortune Hunters edition that came with the dagger of Shambhala or whatever.
Okay.
That had a little thing and they could put it on that. Granted, it was super limited, but it was that was really cool. I think, honestly, I know I'm Tobias. I think probably.
You're Tobias?
Yeah.
You're a never nude?
Exactly.
Okay.
I just blew myself. I think one of the most useful special editions of all time was the Infamous Second Son one. Or no, I'm sorry, Infamous 2 one. Because if you remember, it came with Cole's messenger bag.
Oh, did it really?
And whether I'm at a PSX, a PAX, or whatever, I see fucking thousands of those things. Really? And I use mine too. We use it for gear and electrical cords when we go to events. Because it's a really good messenger bag that you can have. It's like, all right, cool. Like, if you can put something in usable, I'm a fan of that.
Oh, I'm so bad at the usable stuff. It's always I have to have like just like I've got like those plushies of the Hatterful boyfriend plushies, which was an unofficial thing. It was like a Kickstarter thing. Like, what the fuck do I need pigeon plushies for? They just sit there on the wall. I have the Doom Revenant. Yeah, they did the Doom Revenant with it had like you put a battery in and it lasted for like 30 minutes and you spun and had lights on it. So like, why do I need this Doom Revenant? It's great.
That's I love it. We were talking about it on Colin and Greg with Tim of just like. I don't mind. Like, so many people are like super anti against it. If you want to spend your money on it, go spend your money on it. But I feel like everyone I've ever bought, with the rare exception like Infamous or whatever, I get and I'm like, oh, this is cool, and it's just like, well, why did I do? Like, I bought Fallout 4 Collector's Edition.
Me too. I
got a Pip-Boy that's inside the case. The case sits on top of my thing, and I have other crap on top of it now. It's like, okay. And then I always forget about it until we have, again, somebody over here who is like maybe a developer or somebody who's just not maybe as hands-on with the day-to-day of other video games. And we can't see it here when the wall's blocking it. Right. But we have a Luigi award back there that has the Galgun panties on it.
Yeah, I see
And they're like, whose panties are these? And I'm like, oh, there was this game, Galgun. And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, you shoot girls to give them orgasm. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's a collector's edition. It's a screen wipe for a collector's edition of a Japanese game.
You smell it. Comes out of a vending machine.
Exactly.
It's that thing where like whenever there's a game that you love so much that you will like, I'm such a huge Fallout fan that when they announced that, I was on Amazon straight away and I bought the special collector's edition. Totally. Half-Life 2, I have so much Half-Life 2 swag, it's coming out of my ears.
Right.
Like, but I love that game. There are plenty of people who are massive Resident Evil fans who will be delighted that exists. Yeah. So go for it. As long as they don't exploit people who just want the base game and they don't rip stuff out. I hate all that stuff. Like, that was the Evolve situation.
Yeah.
I think if that's totally fine.
Yeah. I know Colin always gets, why is all this crap and toys and stuff? You know what I mean? And he's, of course, as with everything, a hypocrite because he's got like the Mega Mans and stuff. And he admits this, right? But it is that thing of just like, I think it's also part of us where, we go to E3 and I remember those original E3s of going there and trying to get everything. You got bags and t-shirts and this, that, and that. And now people come to demos like, you want a shirt? And like, I'm like, no, please do not give me anything. You forget that like for a person whose life isn't traveling to events and being behind the scenes, it's a huge deal to get a cool statue and get a thumb drive. Like, the finger thumb drive that's like awesome. Yeah. When I go home and I uncork this thing and it's just all thumb drives of like random video game swag.
My most prized possession for years and years and years was the head crab Lamar like plushie thing.
Yeah.
That like because I had that ordered from Seattle.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and I was in Ireland. Like I loved that thing. If like my house burnt down,
That's
I would've,
what you're
like,
getting.
got
That and the
Lamar.
cat.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like all power to it, and I think this is a pretty good example of one of those. I mean, 180 is pretty pricey, but whatever. If you're going to spend it, you're going to spend it, right?
Number 7 on Roper's report.
That should have been number 7. That was Resident Evil 7. You missed out.
All right, you know what? This is why you're doing more success on Patreon than me. Dishonored 2 is getting a new Game Plus mode and a new custom difficulty setting in a free update next month.
Cool.
Yeah, that's exciting, right?
Is this the HUDless version I've heard people talk about?
No, I don't
already in
think
the
so. I
game?
think
Okay.
because they're going to talk about this next month or more or
right.
whatever. They're not actually. They don't have the hardcore details from what I said. Damn it.
I think this is going to be one of those games. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the week 1 sales are, but it came out in a very busy time. It came out with way too many other FPSs coming out, even if it is like totally different. I'm hoping this is a game that like kind
Long
of has
tail.
that Twitch effect. Yeah, exactly. This is like a real January
The
game.
thing will be interesting though, because I wanted to talk about it because you said you played a little bit of Dishonored 2.
I've watched people play Dishonored 2. I haven't.
And that's the thing about it where it's just like, it might have that tail, but this seems like a game that this is one of those communities where, it's funny. There was a PlayStation 4 Pro, right? And I kept making the comment, when people were talking to me about it when the whole Reddit thing and everything else happened, right? And I was just like, well, our audience isn't asking for us to talk about PlayStation Pro. They're not.
Right.
I'm not getting tweets going, hey, why aren't you reviewing PlayStation 4 Pro? There's a million reviews out there and we talk about what we think about it and so on and so forth. Dishonored is the thing where
Right.
I get comments and emails and tweets and why aren't you playing this? You need to play this. Like
Right.
there is a Dishonored 2 community that is super fired up about it and like wants everybody to play it. So I don't know how that's going to work in terms of the long tail. If it is, because I don't think it's a game I would Twitch stream or watch, but I know
Right.
people think I should play it and I should talk about it.
I feel like the game that fixed, or maybe not fixed this, but cracked this nut, right? Where you've got a game like Dishonored, which is so deep, but still has that sort of like time and place problem that like a lot of games have. I was kind of like badly trying to explain earlier on, right? Like I think the game that fixed that was Hitman. Because Hitman was a game that, if it came out as one big game, would have been that like super deep, rich experience that not a lot of people would have explored, right?
Yeah.
But because they did this whole season thing and they kept dropping it over months and months and months and months, it meant they got that media burst every time. It meant they got all of that community got reinvigorated every single time they released a pack. It meant that they were able to improve the game based on feedback while they were doing it. So now you're looking at Hitman, and like Hitman to me is a game that I sort of look at what happened with Giant Bomb in relation to that, because they didn't really talk about it all that much when it came out.
Yeah.
But then as it happens, one of them played it and was like, oh, let's do a video about it, like I'll show you what it's like. And then like Reichert started to like it, and then someone else started to like it. And we're now at the point where you've got Jeff, who wouldn't probably never played it, playing it at the moment and enjoying it, and now it might be a late contender for their game of the year. And I kept hearing about Hitman.
Yeah.
And I have yet to play Hitman, and I wouldn't have gotten it, and I'm a huge Hitman fan, but like now I can't wait for a dead time in January or December to play all of that game.
Yeah.
And I think Dishonored is another game of, it's got that depth to it, and it's got that community, and you can replay those levels over and over and over again in the same sort of way. But the problem it has is that like, that's why they're releasing stuff, right? Is because like we need to
keep the conversation going.
Keep the conversation going.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's for me thinking back to the original Dishonored. I just wasn't a fan of the setting, and I felt like it's a true stealth game.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm playing Watch Dogs in a stealthy way, but when shit goes to fucking pear shaped, it doesn't matter. I just run off, or do whatever I have to do, and it's not that I don't feel like I'm really fucking it up. Whereas like when I'm not stealthy in Dishonored, I don't feel like, oh, no big deal, my character's this fun hacker, dude. I feel like, oh, I fucked this up. I'm supposed to be a master stealth guy or whatever, and going that way.
Yeah.
Video
Just don't have the patience for it.
I had questions here about Dishonored. I'm seeing if any of them make sense. 'Cause, we've been having a really good show here. I don't want to screw it up. No.
Ask questions about Dishonored to the people who haven't played.
Yeah. Well, no, they
All that much
don't trust
Dishonored.
me. I want to pick those kind of questions. We got off the thing.
What do I do in level 4?
I'm stuck at this wall. What do I do? All right.
Whale
Final
blood.
part of the Roper's report.
Okay.
The roundup. This is just updates and stuff like that when
Good.
it comes to things like release dates and whatnots, all right?
It's the most important.
Pinball FX2 is coming to PlayStation VR 11/29 with The Walking Dead Pinball available day and date. Now, this is interesting because a guy came back earlier and was asking us in one of the other topics about VR if we had thought this could bring back the arcade. Over at kindafunny.com/PSQ, Celestial Pulse said, hello, Colin and Greg.
Hey, what's up?
I simply want to know, could/should VR breathe a little life back into the arcade. Now, he then goes off to say, you go to the arcade and put on VR.
Oh.
I say that's not a good thing, pink eye and everything else. Instead, go the opposite direction with it and why like
Bring the arcade to you.
there's so many people who talk about that of putting it on and like now the way Pinball FX2 looks is with the table out there.
Right.
It would strike me that as they continue to add tables, you're going to have this room full of tables in front of you and you get to walk up.
Right.
And that point, why you have to hope Atari and Namco are all sitting down and being like, well, okay, let's work on this where you walk up to cabinets and there is a Pac-Man and there is a Galaga and there is this.
Is there any, because I haven't played the Playroom, the VR version of Playroom.
Yeah.
Is there any multiplayer components to that at all? Are you able to?
I didn't play, I don't know.
The VR? So
Playroom's a baby's game.
Right.
Battlezone has multiplayer. Like there is VR multiplayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there multiplayer in that you are both there talking to each other, like in a? So there's this game called Rec Room on the Vive, which is basically like you have an avatar and you're playing with other people.
Yeah.
And you're like playing with like, you can tell it's a child because it's 2 feet smaller than you. Right? It's like, it's that weird sort of thing.
There is that bar game that is pool and darts and that you're playing with other people.
Bar or something?
Something like that. But I don't think it's a height-based thing
Okay.
at all. I think it's just like there's avatars there that are doing their thing.
So that whole thing is like super interesting and that like going to play, because like this is a place where like you can go play paintball, you can play all these different things.
Sure.
And there's another one I have which could easily be on PlayStation VR as well. That was basically you have your own arcade.
Yeah.
But the best thing about it is you can do anything you want because there's no lines.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I was playing that in multiplayer, I'd be pissed off.
Sure, you walk
because
out,
everyone's
going
to be at the skee ball.
Well, it's like when they brought out in PlayStation Home and they added those kind of things.
Right.
Yeah, people would queue up trying to get to certain things.
That's like, why am I queuing up?
Yeah.
This is
the Division did that too, where you all had to go check in at some place. And there was this giant queue of people trying to get their mission from the
quest
one
marker.
person.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
I can see it happening. I mean, I feel like PlayStation Home should definitely come back with a VR component.
They should not call it that, but yes, they should.
No, and they should also be a bit weirder about some of the dodgy stuff that was happening on there as well.
There's no dodgy
There was
stuff.
some
What are you talking
dodgy-
about? You got bubble
Ugh.
machines, some Ghostbuster stuff you could put on.
You could buy a house.
PlayStation Home is one of those things you think about now and you're like, what the fuck was going on? God, that you want to talk about a micro community.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the people who were into PlayStation Home fucking loved PlayStation Home.
For sure.
And then everybody else was like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm going to fold at home. Drive comes to PlayStation 4 on December 13th. The Vita version has been, quote unquote, indefinitely postponed.
Yeah.
And they go back and forth with one commenter who's like, so cancel. He's like, not cancel. And then they start putting the dictionary definition of canceled in. It's like, it's canceled. Riggs is going to get more rigs and an arena in December. And then Mages of Mistralia out in spring 2017 on PS4 and at PSX.
How is Riggs?
It's one of those ones that I played, not a lot, but I played at events and I was like, cool. Kind of makes me sick. I'm not going to jump. I'm not super stoked to get into it. I'll give it a shot. And I haven't gotten a chance to give it a shot again.
Right.
And so, but this is where I was coming from with the question a couple weeks ago of like, are you still using VR? Is that my concern with PlayStation VR was going to be, it comes out, there's been the preview cycle where we've all been really positive on it. It comes out, kids get it, they have expectations, it underperforms, and everybody's like, why did I spend all this money on it?
Right.
This is a waste of my time. And then they look at it week after week and think like they're wasting time and money. And instead what happened is everybody was really positive at release and then everybody kind of stopped talking about it. And that's what's spurred the question to get stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know, are there still Riggs players out there? Are you playing competitively? Are you going back and forth?
It's a good
Let
point.
us know.
That's one of those. It's like the Titanfall 1 problem, right? You get that drop off. And then
exactly. It was,
suddenly
people were talking about it at
Evolve.
the time and everything was great.
Best thing Evolve ever did. Well, not best thing they did. And that game is fun. I don't like shitting on it. I think it was a pretty great idea. But like when they went free to play, it was like boom, we're back. And like actually one of the craziest ones is Rainbow Six.
Oh yeah.
God,
Siege.
the community for Siege. Something happened over. I guess they made that like $12 version or something.
Yeah.
And it has just exploded.
That's that same thing with like you
sleeper
find
hit.
you get streamers who are playing this and are gonna like because not every game's for every person. I don't know. Do I have something I can really add to the Dishonored conversation? Probably
Right.
not. But like an Alfredo can play Siege and be like, oh hey, this you guys like X, so you'd like this, and here's
Right.
how it all comes together and works out.
Yeah.
That's how you gotta do it. Now, Danny,
Yes.
I am of course excited for PlayStation VR Pinball FX and to see this Walking Dead table. I'm terrible at it. I'll probably only play it for 2 seconds, but it's still so far away. If I wanted to know what was coming to the digital mom and grop shops and retail stores around the world, where would I go?
You tell me.
Yeah, you just can say whatever. Just say, oh here, you go to the upcoming list
You got it. You go to the upcoming list.
of PlayStation software.
Do I have to do like? Should I do an accent for this? Should I be Colin?
Sure.
Should I be you?
Sure.
Should I?
Yeah, do whatever you say. Something that's Colin.
Colin. Trump was always going to win.
Jesus. It's the list of upcoming software by the PlayStation fans.
I've got imposter syndrome. I can't. Okay, yeah.
It's a big week for that PlayStation Vita.
Is it?
Danny O'Dwyer. I'm not kidding. There's some stuff
Every
coming
week.
up here.
Every week.
Now I'm going to start with alchemic jousts, not alchemists.
Okay.
Alchemic jousts. This is PlayStation 4 digital release.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Alchemic Jousts
They need to. Oh God.
is a 2D action strategy game where you discover new skills by combining the ones you already know.
So like running and jumping.
I guess command your elementals and support them with a wide variety of skills.
Like what?
Control the arena and crush your opponents in 1-to-1 encounters.
Okay.
That's it. That's what we know about Alchemist Joust.
That is the vaguest explanation.
Welcome
of
to
the
the
game.
PlayStation blog descriptions.
Okay.
At least they kind of. Before they were just fragments of sentences, just spaced together. Amnesia Collection comes to PlayStation 4 digital.
Cool.
Experience the horror that kickstarted the Let's Play revolution. Be immersed in 3 living nightmares that will chill you to the core.
Jesus.
The collection contains 3 Amnesia titles: The Dark
Descent.
Descent, A Machine for Pigs, and Justine. Is that Justine?
Yeah, it's I just seen. Yeah, it's weird that they're saying that's part of the. Is that part of it? I guess it might. I thought it was
the
the
Let's
same
Play
developer.
Revolution? Oh.
I didn't think they called. It's so lame that they're referring to themselves as the Let's Play Revolution. Like, shut up.
Let's
Like,
Play
you kind of are, but
Revolution.
shut up.
Nobody wants you to say that, though.
God, exactly. It's cool. It's not cool if you admit it. They should bring those out for PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Horror games, man. That's that
Yeah.
VR cutting edge. That's
Those
what
games are
people
great.
want. Yeah.
Dark Descent's great. It's a bit
Never
dated
played
now.
them.
Machine for Pigs. Yeah, really
Yeah.
good. Played Machine for Pigs. Yeah, Dark
Okay.
Descent's a bit old to play now, but
All right.
good stuff.
Darksiders War Mastered Edition comes to PlayStation 4 Detail and Digital. Detail.
And
Having a stroke, everybody. Digital and retail. Deceived by the forces of evil into prematurely bringing about the end of the world, War, the first horseman of the apocalypse, stands accused of breaking the sacred law by inciting a war between heaven and hell. In the slaughter that ensued, the demonic forces defeated the heavenly hosts and laid claim to the earth.
it's like I'm back in Catholic school. This is great.
I know, right? Like, no description of what the game actually is.
Nope.
Now, granted, Darksiders is like, I feel like a bad penny. You think you get rid of it, it just keeps coming back to you. Like, God, fucking damn it. All
What
right.
is this though? Darksiders 2 is the last one I saw. Is this?
This is the remastered.
of the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, here you go. Play it on
Great.
PlayStation 4. Is that all? Is 2 in there too? Or when was Darksiders 2?
I forgot. That could be a game that came out 8 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yep, exactly. Thank God it's not like there's a new company betting their entire existence on it. Let's see what Amazon says. Amazon, go here. Darksiders. Well, that's not even the same thing. War Mastered PlayStation 4 edition.
Is that just coming out in PS4?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, it's got to be X. Well,
But it's not coming out in Vita or anything.
oh God, no.
'Cause I could see
Vita.
that.
That'd be perfect. Can you imagine if it was on Vita? Oh, the power we'd have. Yeah, it looks like it's just one. Because PlayStation 4 Darksiders 2 was already a
Right.
thing. Darksiders. THQ Nordic.
Oh God.
Go
yeah.
get them.
Yeah.
Gary the Gull comes to PlayStation VR Digital. Are
My
you familiar
favorite
with
gull.
Gary the Gull?
No. What is Gary the?
I'll
I
read
mean,
it
I
to
can
you.
guess.
I played this at the PlayStation 4 GDC event.
Okay.
Say hello to Gary.
Hey Gary.
Gary the Gull is an interactive VR short film where Gary talks to you and you can talk back. Your path through the story depends on how you answer Gary's questions using voice recognition and head gestures. Enjoy your day at the beach.
Okay.
Now,
Can I say fuck you, Gary?
yeah, he won't respond to that.
And
of
then
course.
he doesn't say like that's rude.
No, I wish. That's the thing. Played Gary the Gull at that PlayStation 4 event. And I was like, all right, this is a great tech demo. And they're like, oh no, it's a full-fledged thing. I was like, oh no, oh God, no. Because I did the short film. Like, it's
Right.
like, it must have been like 6 minutes or whatever. And it was like, it was doing the thing too. And granted, maybe it was early. This is just my preview impressions, whatever. But like, you know, he's like, hey, look over there. You know what I mean? You look away and then he tries to steal your picnic basket or your cooler, I think it is.
Right.
But it's like the thing, even if you didn't move your head, he just went and did it. And I'm just like, well, what are you, like, wait, you're not interacting with me at all, actually, Gary. You're just kind of doing your own fucking thing here.
Gary is the latest in a long line of like seemingly impossible pieces of software to do this, which were actually impossible. Like for instance, like Milo, which was
Oh my God,
total
Milo.
smoke and mirrors, or like Seaman, which like barely worked at all. Gary the Gull.
Gary the Gull, here he is.
Fair
He thought
play.
this is some of the things you're gonna get. It's again, this could be a cool idea a few years from now. Somebody's worked on it and done something, but we'll see.
Why a gull?
Who doesn't like a good sequel?
Everyone.
alliteration.
The most irritating animal in the
Oh
world.
no, they're a big hit because of the movie. Remember now, mine. Everybody loves them
really?
because of that shit.
Oh god.
Like Minions.
Gary the Minion would be better.
Hollow Ball
Okay.
comes to PlayStation VR digital.
That sounds like that is the most PlayStation Digital name I've ever heard in my life.
Right. It's got a really cool aesthetic too. From Hollow Ball there too.
There you go.
It's worth pointing out, of course, this was made by friend of Kind of Funny, Mike from Filthy Casual. So,
Oh, cool.
Hollow Ball plunges players into an action sports arcade arena inspired by one of the most iconic games of all time. Use your paddles to hit, smash, and curve the Hollow Ball past your opponent to score. Learn and master skill shots to outmatch your increasingly difficult opponents.
So did they say that it's based on one of the most iconic games,
They
but then not refer to the
They
game?
will not say what the game is.
Is the game Breakout or something?
I thought it was
or-
Pong.
Oh, Pong? Is it? Yeah.
Use your paddles to hit, smash, or curve
Yeah.
the Hollow Ball past your opponent.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense, right? Then another, I mean, like, if this is one we got to retire.
Okay.
This name, iZombie. It's not
Right.
the TV show. It's not the work of fiction. It's just iZombie. All right, PS4 digital. Quite a different zombie game. This
Okay.
time, you are the zombie. Command your infected comrades, fight your way to freedom, and let zombie kind dominate the world. So, just like Stubbs the Zombie, or Zombie Tycoon, or Zombie Tycoon 2, or many other zombie games that are exactly
Left
this.
4 Dead.
Coming to PlayStation Vita digital.
Yeah.
Iron Sea Defenders. Defend your fort from impending enemy attacks by saving money, stockpiling secret weaponry, building cannons, and driving the enemy to despair. Embrace your tactical and strategic prowess, and victory will be yours in Iron Sea Defenders.
Nice work. The word Tower Defense was not mentioned once. That was-
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
Strong marketing. Good
We
work.
got they'll come up in trophy time. I wanted to see a little bit more about them, so you'll see them here in a second. Laser Disco Defenders comes to PlayStation 4 digital.
That's a strong name.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Shoot and dodge lasers in Laser Disco Defenders, a self-inflicted bullet hell that combines retro sci-fi with the sounds and sights of the disco era.
Oh my god.
Explore randomly generated levels, complete missions to unlock new clothing, and customize your character to gain new abilities. Right? That sounds
If
right.
I can get flares and a dumb fedora and like a shirt with the first 4 buttons open, then yeah, and also play Bullet Hell.
Why not?
Sold.
Perfect. Now, continuing, this is a PlayStation VR digital game.
Okay.
But continuing with, we're making a VR game. What names you got from me?
Okay.
Proton Pulse.
Oh god.
Proton Pulse.
No.
They have a mistitle here.
At least you can pronounce this one.
Proton Pulse Plus is
Oh,
a fast-paced classic arcade action. Is fast-paced classic arcade action from a whole new perspective, spanning over 50 levels with an original soundtrack by Jake Kaufman and Danimal. Oh, we know Danimal. Proton Pulse Plus will take you on a heart-pounding mission to save the universe. Another one of like, what the fuck is that game?
Yeah.
Is a fast-paced classic arcade action from a whole. What does that mean?
The Predator soundtrack. They got 50 levels. The name is a car crash.
Is
But
it?
if the game's good enough, you can get over that.
I don't know what I'm doing in it though. Am I
Yeah.
just is it hack and slash? There's a lot of things. Anyways, Samurai Showdown VI.
Do you think that like all of these are like the descriptors that they put under YouTube videos because they're seeming to like almost intentionally not refer to anything that you would get visually
100%.
from the game?
I imagine this is like the way I imagine it. Because we've ragged on this for a long time. Because again, literally, it was just broken English before. Like nobody was reading these things and putting them live. They've gotten better, but I have to imagine that when you submit a game to PlayStation, there must be all these like
Right.
fill out this form and put in the description, and like
Yeah.
people must just like not wholly understand where the information is going.
Yeah.
And like Samurai Showdown 6. The age, 10 me. The venue, the world. The prize, glory. That's
great.
The curtain now rises on the samurai world's greatest spectacle. Let the games begin. Like, I understand it's the 6th game in the series.
Yeah.
Like, you know what this is and you care, you don't give a shit, but
I love games that are set in the world. It's a good thing I was Googling that.
the prize, glory. Slain Back from Hell comes to PlayStation Vita Digital. Slain Back from Hell, a heavy metal inspired arcade combat game with stunning pixel art visuals, challenging old school gameplay, and gore galore. Plus,
Ooh, it's good.
that was
That's a good combination.
Plus, the most metal soundtrack you've ever heard. Told me what the game is, what I can expect from it, and if I like that, the metal, there I am. All right. Stranded, a Mars adventure comes to PlayStation Vita Digital. Flying to Mars is a piece of cake, but returning back to Earth, that's where things get tricky. Help the stranded astronaut to find a way back home in this delightful side-scrolling skill
Fuck
game.
to find a way back home?
Did he say fun? No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Help the stranded astronaut to find a way back home in this delightful side-scrolling skill game.
Cool.
Interesting. I'm interested in that. Verzum Arcade comes to PlayStation VR Digital.
Tell me
Verzum
more.
Arcade is an ever-expanding collection of virtual reality exercise games powered by you. Pedal faster to chase down bandits, turn your head to aim your tank's cannon, and lean to swoop and dive on the back of a Pegasus. Say goodbye to your boring workout. Full games require the Verzum exercise bike controller, available from local and online retailers. What the flying fuck?
I think I might have played this one.
Oh my god.
On the bike, yeah, you'd get like an exercise bike. Like a straight up like put it in your house, buy it at Christmas, never use it again, like exercise bike.
There it is.
Do they sell actual ones? Can you
Oh
not-
yeah,
you
here it
can't
is
just
on
use it
Amazon.
anyone?
Here it is on
How much is
Amazon. You want to take a guess? How much do you think the Verzum virtual reality exercise bike and games? Oh, hold on.
And games?
Hold on. Let me see what we got here. About the product: Verzum folding VR bike controller and Verzum arcade games included. What games?
$269.99.
I want to give you. Hold on. I'm trying to give you exactly what games are here.
All right.
Okay, here you go. Verzum Arcade is a free to.
Free to play.
Yep. Verzum Arcade is free to play with the Verzum gaming system. It includes 5 VR exercise games.
Okay.
So you get 5 games and this fucking bike for VR.
So you get one game that's got 5 games in it.
Yeah, sounds like it.
5 games. Yeah, they're trying to upsell it.
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like $250 for the bike, and then they'll put it a little bit higher for the software.
You can get it all for the low price of $399 US dollars. And also look at this guy. I don't know what I'm going to title this episode, but I really want to use this as the thumbnail. Just no explanation. Just this guy in his VR bike. Good fucking Lord.
Yeah. All right.
Now, if oh no, well, I was going to say for kids at home who are thinking about dropping their $400 on this. What I'm seeing here.
Is it free postage at least? Is it Amazon Prime?
It is Prime. It is Prime.
Thank
It is Prime.
Christ.
It is Prime.
Extra
I don't
150 on
see,
top?
and I could just, let me enhance the image here.
Enhance.
Because I'm not seeing,
Controllers?
it doesn't look like there's move light bars on them, like for like the nubs for that.
Oh, right.
Which would make me think if you have an exercise bike, you
Right.
might just be able to ride the exercise bike, but I can't prove that.
I think I might have played this one, and I think it gets it off of the pedal.
Oh,
So when
really?
you're, so like I think I did this one, and it's like when it says bandits, is there like pictures of cowboys? Because
We're
I
watching the
definitely
video
did that.
right here.
Yes, I have used that one before. Yeah, and it works, but it's like it's not that
not
great that you'd spend $400 on it.
Oh, here we go. It's on Today's
Oh, it's
Show.
on a Today Show. Yeah, so there's a bit where you're on a Pegasus, and then when you pedal, it's like flying, and it's really cool, and you're like, whoa! But it's based on like how fast you're pedaling, and I think
Interesting.
you lean as well. So there was no controller, so I don't think you could use it with something.
Okay. Well, here we're getting it. You power it on. You crank on your tension. You
Okay.
put on the headset that's not a PlayStation VR headset. You do this. You spin that thing. and
If it was a
We've
PlayStation
got
4
triggers.
exclusive, that would be maybe the worst business decision you could do.
I don't know. This dog is driving a car.
Oh yeah, it's an F1 driving game, and when you look in the mirror, you realize you're a dog, which is pretty cool.
all right.
Yeah, I did this one as well. It's it actually looks better
There's the
graphically than it
Pegasus.
did when I played it before.
Well, this is probably running on the Vive. So there you go. Or did you use it on the Vive?
I don't know. I think I used an Oculus actually.
All right.
It was a while ago. It was like a year ago.
Well, Verzum Arcade is out there now, ladies
There
and
you go.
gentlemen. God be with us all. We Sing comes to PlayStation 4 Digital. We Sing returns bigger and better than ever before, featuring the hottest hits from the world's biggest artists from across 5 decades, including original recordings from artists including ABBA, David Bowie, Shia?
Shia?
That's it. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Shawn Mendes and Wiz Khalifa, along with their official HD music videos.
David Bowie.
Yeah,
Worth buying it for that.
I agree. We do love David Bowie.
Let's
right
play
here.
some Omicron the Nomad Soul.
And a big shout out, of course, similar to what we were talking about too, about like continuing to release content Hitman wise. Batman, the Telltale series, episode 4 comes out Tuesday as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Not listed, of course, because it's digital and they consider it add-ons.
They were like the first people to do that whole, and then package it all at the end. Because I was definitely part of the once you package it all, I'll binge.
That's a real game. Yeah.
Or I just have no discipline. I can't watch. This is why I'm just struggling with Westworld, because I just like to binge. I like to do it. I wait until it's over and then watch the whole thing in one go. Although I am watching Westworld.
Yeah, well, you got to. That's the thing with Telltale, where it's like I just gotta go.
Right.
I want to play it as soon as I can. But it's a weird thing because then it does become like appointment viewing. Where it's
Right,
like, no matter how far I get in Watch Dogs tonight, tomorrow I'm coming home and playing episode 4 because I want to know what's happening. They do such a great job with the cliffhangers. And have you played any of Batman?
No, not a Batman.
They do a really good job of fucking with the fiction.
Cool.
To where it's not necessarily what you think's going to happen is what's going to happen.
Right.
So it's like actually really interesting to make choices.
It's probably important for Batman fans considering how much like knowledge of those narratives you already
Exactly.
kind of know. Yeah.
Well, it's just nice to see DC let somebody off the leash. Like, all right, go do something goofy. You know, or not goofy, but really intense and different.
Have they confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy thing or?
No, it's still just off the
That's
voice
still-
actor strike
okay.
listing thing. I don't think I've seen anything official from them. This is where we usually do topic of the show, but we've been going for an hour and 46 minutes. I think we've had like 4 worthy topics of the show.
Yeah,
So that's fine. Don't worry about that.
probably.
Uh,
Trophies though?
Trophy time.
Yeah?
Yeah, trophy time's still here. I pulled up We Sing. Neon Chrome is what I listed, but that doesn't even sound like a real thing. No, Neon Chrome is what I listed.
Is
'cause
that a template? Is that a PlayStation 4?
another one that
template?
sounds like it, right? Yeah, it looks like another VR thing. Neon Chrome has, no... I don't know why I pulled up Neon Chrome. We're not going to talk about Neon Chrome. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. We Sing I pulled up, of course, because I'm a big singing fan. I thought
Okay.
maybe it'll be easy platinum. It looks like it's a mind-numbing platinum.
Oh, is it like
They have a
every,
bunch-
like 5-star every song or?
Eventually, but they have a ton of bronzes that are play this song at least 10 times.
Oh, what?
And they have Hit Me Baby One More Time. You sing Chandelier at least 10 times. See You Again. Wake Me Up. Worth It. Love Me. I mean, like, it's all, and there's tons of these motherfuckers
for
in here.
bronzes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get to that in a second. Save that one there for a second. But sing 20 songs on hard. Okay, whatever. Score over 90,000. It's whatever, but I'm not going to sitting there and playing. Now, maybe you could just hit it and leave it there. I don't know. Get around it that way. This is how I get to thinking about trophies, that I'm just going to game
Put it
the
on easy
system.
mode where it doesn't
Exactly.
ever cancel you and yeah.
Exactly.
Or put it with the song. You like get your CD player and
You've done this before.
And then
You've done this before, sir. NBA 2K VR experience has trophies up.
Oh.
13, no bronze. I'm sorry, no platinum. Looks like 1 gold, 3 silvers. I didn't hear much about this. Have you seen anything or talked about it? I don't know anything.
I can imagine what it is almost immediately.
Yeah, complete a 3-point game, 3-point game on any difficult in solo mode. Complete a time attack game.
They should have like a half-court shot mini game in there or something like that.
Yeah,
Roll it,
reach
underhand it.
reach challenge 10 and sink the basket successfully on buzzer beater in solo mode. Going to complete the time attack game without missing a single shot. And that sounds like a son of a bitch. I don't want to do that. Iron Sea, that tower defense game coming to PlayStation Vita this week. 12 trophies, no platinum. Kill 1,000 enemies, kill 500 enemies with the secret weapon. Those are all bronzes. You got 4 silvers, 1 gold. Complete all levels with 3 stars for the 1 gold. Sell 500 towers. Stuff
Pretty
to that
standard
effect.
stuff.
What you'd expect from, I think, a tower defense game with their trophies. Refreshing right quick to see if I missed anything cool. No, nothing's broken that's cool.
No?
On XOXO.
All right, there you go.
We do have questions, though, about it. Now, we talked earlier. Actually, I'm going to skip that one. We'll come
Okay.
back to it.
No worries.
Instead, we're going to jump to this one. This is grand.millers.raccoon. Wrote in to kindafunny.com/PSQ and says, "Hello, Greg and Colin.
Hey, what's up?
My question is real simple. Do you, or anyone else for that matter, give a flying fuck about bronze, silver, and gold trophies? I don't mean the actual trophies, but the fact that some are gold, some are silver, and some are bronze. For me, every small trophy is a step closer to the platinum, parentheses, the only trophy that matters. So categorizing them and putting developers through all the trouble seems a bit absurd. What are your thoughts on the matter? Anyway, thanks for the years of entertainment, Cornelius." This goes back to what you were talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, this is the wrong audience for this. I enjoy the simplicity of the gamer score.
Just the
sort
numbers?
of thing. It's just it's whenever when they originally launched the 3 trophies or the 4, sorry, I was kind of like, you're kind of like over egging this pudding a little bit. The pudding is all egg, and I don't really know the importance of any of it.
Yeah.
So to me, the platinum was always like the top of the mountain, like that's
Sure.
to get. But it's also kind of too far for me.
Yeah.
That the golds have become the more like. So I'm interested in the golds.
Sure.
I don't really care about the bronze and silver kind of part of it all
Yeah.
that much. Like they pop up and I'm like, you're just in the way of my game. And I turn off notifications.
Yeah. The thing about it is, we've gotten hung up on that before where, when we are talking about it, and I think it'll come up and Colin or me, it'll be like, it's get 50 kills and you only get a bronze for it.
Right.
It's annoying in the sense that for me, if I want the platinum, it doesn't matter. Who the fuck cares? I don't care. Like Watch Dogs, I want the platinum, so it's cool to be, when I finish these missions, I'm getting silvers for them. I'm like, that seems way too much, but I'll take it. Awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean? Great. Better than a bunch of bronzes. But when it is then just when you're playing to play the game and you're popping a bronze or whatever, then it is just like whatever. And if it is a bronze for something that's really out there, then I'm never going to go get it. Why would I bother getting the 50 kills if I'm not getting a reward out of it? But if I'm going for the platinum, then it doesn't really matter. It's this weird balancing issue.
Yeah, I feel like on the developer side, it does put them in the weird position where they have to they almost by definition of having all of these tiers, they have to make the bronze ones like either boring or just like so like things that you're going to do in the run of the game regardless that there's nothing really you're going to get excited about. Like, oh, kill like 20 people. It's like, well, that's going to happen no matter what I do anyway.
Exactly.
So like, who cares? Or like completing mid levels and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like if you're going for the you're right. If you're going for the platinum, then that stuff feels cool because it's like you're chipping away at it, and that's something that the Microsoft system never had. Is that you might have that like 200, 200 point thing for completing the game on the hardest difficulty or whatever, right? Whereas on this one, at least you feel like you're chipping away at it piece by piece.
That's the thing where I feel like a platinum, and this is, of course, I'm in this ecosystem and everything else. I feel like a platinum is more rewarding to me than the 1,000 points, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
with the points, it is like, okay, that point total is worth me doing that. Whereas like the bronze trophy isn't worth me doing that, so I'll leave. And I don't care. My achievements have all these holes in them, and then you look at your trophy completion percentage, like, oh, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, I think the platinum's one are harder to get, and the Microsoft system is probably better for people who just like for rewarding people for just doing anything. Yeah. So I agree. It seemed weird that they had such a complex system at the gate. I always felt like, it's something you could have like expanded on in any way, but they kind of pigeonhole themselves in a weird way.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to copy without copying,
right?
And they just got in this weird thing where these have values, but they don't have values, but they do to the developers. And
then you've got games that don't have platinums. Then you've got the mayonnaise thing.
Fucking goddamn it! Speaking of the mayonnaise thing, my dog Nick,
what up, Nick?
96 writes in and says, "Hello, Greg and guest."
What? Thank you.
He knew
I'm not Gio Corsi, but I'm good enough.
He listened. He listened to Colin Moriarty last week and figured out. Last time on PS I Love You XOXO, best friend Zyger1337 brought up my name is Mayo. Yep. Referring to how poor the quality assurance on the PlayStation Store is. I originally wrote up a question about a certain title on PSN that seemed awful. After a bit of research, I understand it a bit better, but I still don't think it fits on the PlayStation Network. That title is Inner Kung Fu Game.
Inner. Like inside
INNER Kung Fu Game.
Okay.
It's $3. It was stealth released onto the system, parentheses, not mentioned on the drop that week it came out. And all descriptions Sony provides don't properly explain the game. He puts game in quotes, in my opinion. Here's a description from the PlayStation Store. You may read this out loud if you like. Well, thank you for your permission, my dog Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
PlayStation Store wrote, after scoring a trophy by pointing your awareness correctly 15 times, you enter an exercise routine which has many modes. Intention mode, Tai Chi mode, orbit mode, stretching mode, muscle mode, organ health mode, 3 energy center mode, 7 energy center mode, hand and finger posture mode, lying mode, sitting mode, standing mode, and walking mode. You can learn more about these modes at http://innerkungfugame.com.
/modes.html.
This is still the official PlayStation Store description. The exercise sequence can be done in calming order or exciting order to increase or decrease your energy levels as you go. You can do the entire exercise routine or select any exercise mode to work on. This version of the Inner Kung Fu Game has more audio file descriptions, so it is easier to use.
Wow, great.
My dog Nick 96 continues. I looked into this further and discovered it's more of a yoga app, but it shouldn't be advertised as a game. Also, the trophies for this just seem as bad as My Name is Mayo's, except no platinum. I guess this isn't a question as much as an observation, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on titles like these and where they belong. As always, thanks for all you do and keep up the amazing work.
God.
Holy Jesus Christ.
I want to do extreme speed organ health mode right now. My organ health feels pretty bad.
What a weird ass thing to put in there. I want to try to find it though.
It feels like, I think it was one of the recent episodes you guys were talking about how a lot of this stuff is just kind of copy pasted from the iOS world, right? And like I feel like a lot of the descriptions are kind of the same thing. And then when it comes to trophies, it's like each one of these different stores has their own like version of these things, right? Like even Apple has its little game room thing or whatever the hell, game center thing or whatever it's called. And I just think there's like hardly any curation or care done And a lot of these are like managed by companies that are doing like 50 of these a month on all these different platforms, and there's no quality control. They don't care. There doesn't seem to be any translation control on this.
No, nobody's paying attention. The inner kung fu game trophies I'm looking at. There's 21 total.
Oh, hit me with them.
There's a bronze here. First 15 points. Correctly point your attention in the proper direction. This is on PlayStation 4.
Okay. Is
Second,
this a move game?
15 points. Correctly point your attention in the proper direction.
What?
17th, 15 points. This is the trophy title. 17th, 15 points. Correctly point your attention in the proper direction. It's that over and over again. You point your attention in the proper direction. Now, he's included he put in...
So does it just like do you get them all in one go when you 15?
I can't. Well, you're putting out the move one. I don't know if it's move related. Hold on now. Let me see if Jericho hasn't cleared these out. So let me. Of course. Shout out to Jericho over on the Kind of Funny forums, who over at kindoffunny.com/PSQ goes through and finds everything, keeps it all set up. Here we go. He sent over screenshots.
Oh God, it's as horrible as I'd feared.
It's just. It strikes me as you just play it and it must do it, right? Because it can't. Oh, is that no? I can't tell what's happening in this game.
He's trying to break into a dodecahedron. It seems like. Is it a PlayStation camera game?
I don't know.
Maybe
we're going to YouTube now.
There's a 3D model of a humanoid, and what seems to be a sort of a geometric shape in front of it.
We're going to YouTube. Alexander Phil has a video up called "What the fuck is this?" Inner Kung Fu game PS4 gameplay. I'm sitting through the ad. Oh, here, I'm skipping the ad now.
Okay.
Oh, you use the D-pad for the pointing.
What?
And then a triangle button as well?
So you're just working out your finger? That's not an organ. I want organ health.
I don't know, man. I don't know sometimes. But this is exactly what we're talking about.
Right, yeah.
Shovelware. Someone is saying that this is fine. This thing that is just a bubble in front of this guy's thing that's going on. I don't know. Now
there's a lot of it. It's not just PSN here. Have you played that Attacking Zenyaga? On that, that's like week when the floodgates opened on the bad PSN games. That was like one of the first ones out.
Okay.
Oh, it's a real stinker.
It's a real piece of garbage. All right, cool. Mr. Yams now has a follow up to this thread that we've talked about.
Okay.
That there's too much crap on the store.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Hey. I like.
He said
vague. I like it. That was good.
He said say hi, Colin, but you did it. You filled the role good. For the last few weeks, there has been a consistent topic that has been featured on the show, and it has me at two minds: the oversaturation of games on the PSN. On one hand, I do agree that there's a lot of crap on the store. However, I hoarded myself out and played My Name is Mayo and got the trophies for PS4 and Vita. After thinking about it, I hope the developers make a good amount of money on this because I think they were smart to do this from a sales standpoint. Having said that, don't game developers deserve the chance to make money as crappy as the game may be to be able to make something even better in the future? Every developer comes from somewhere, and no matter how shitty the games they worked on in the past may be, without those, we wouldn't have the games we love now. Without Joe Danger, we wouldn't have the ambition of No Man's Sky, regardless of how you feel about it. We wouldn't have these Telltale games without them making that awful Jurassic Park game first. DICE made Shrek, and Treyarch made the bad Minority Report game. Not for nothing, but there are bad games that are released physically that were made by veteran developers like Haze. He's talking about the game Haze, not the developer.
Right, yeah.
And let's not forget about that Whiplash. Let's not forget Whiplash was made by Crystal Dynamics. In the end, there are great developers out there, but shouldn't they have the chance to put out content to have a chance at something greater? Besides, when it's all said and done, isn't it really up to the consumer to vote with their wallet? P.S. I love you, but only when my wife isn't around. Thanks for all you do. Mr. Yams. Brian, if you're nasty, he says. Yes, you are correct that is a real thing. However, looking at the games of Haze and Shrek and Jurassic Park,
right.
people were trying on that. You know what I mean? And like now I can't speak to what the fuck is Inner Kung Fu. It doesn't look like somebody was trying super hard on it. Maybe they were. Maybe I'm being offensive. Maybe this is a great exercise yoga game that I'm just not understanding at a glance and how to use a controller with it. But there's a line there. My Name is Mayo is goofy and stupid, but again, like the argument yesterday, Colin, or last week I should say, Colin was, very up in arms that like they were taking advantage of people. And my argument was they're not, because I knew what I was buying. People are buying this game knowing what they're buying. It's an easy platinum trophy. And if there's a market for that, and clearly there is, the consumers are speaking, and it's going to be hilarious when this game charts, when this game inevitably charts, because who the hell's buying Vita games, unless there's some giant sale, There is an audience for that. They weren't lying about it. The art is good in it, right? Like it's a mayo jar, but it's not this. It is not the what the fuck is this? My name is Mayo game or not there you go. First 15 points just popped on this thing. It is not this thing. Is this guy? The bubble just expands around this man and nobody knows what the hell's going on. But again, maybe I'm selling this short. Maybe there's something actually happening here. I don't know. Yes, developers need to. The argument Colin's making is, and me to an extent too, I guess, isn't that your game isn't great enough. Actually, that is Colin's thing. That there needs to be somebody who plays the games. I'm saying that you're allowed to make bad games and put them out there, but I think there are people who are just shelling out shovelware garbage games that they know are terrible and they're not learning something from it. They're not taking something away from it. They're trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, totally. I think you can have it. I think both are true. I think it is true that you should. The market, the market gets what it wants, right? The market decides what works and what doesn't. And the Mayo one is like, it's a goofy idea and it's kind of funny and it's clearly self-aware. There you go. It's clearly self-aware and it's, they know what the hell's going on. And at least they're not trying to, like, to your point, they're not trying to obfuscate what the game is. They're pretty upfront about what the goddamn hell this thing is, right? And you're right, like, maybe we shouldn't have a situation where we're dumping on games because people are trying to make a living out of it, regardless of what they do in the future. I think the biggest missed opportunity of what's happening now, and like what's happening now with PSN Store and what happened previously with Steam and what's happened basically at kind of iOS, everything, the lack of curation, is that eventually it's a business decision. Like eventually it became too much of a problem for the doormen of gatekeepers, to vet everything that went through. It became too expensive, so they created a marketplace where the market decides and the relevant stuff pops up to the top. What I miss is what we had prior, which is when digital games came out on PS3 and late PS3 and early PS4, which was that whenever those games came out, they were curated for the system, and we knew that they were good and they were relevant. And you kind of had the same thing over on Microsoft with the Xbox Live
Arcade.
Like the summer,
summer of arcade,
stuff like that. I missed that because that was cool, because that was basically the gatekeepers saying, here are some games that you probably would have ignored in this shovelware world, but we're actually kind of backing them. We're vetting them. We're saying these are pretty cool. So I think that's the one thing that we've lost in this. Other than that, I think it's kind of hilarious that you're able to have all this like shovelware crap in there.
Like Sony will do Spring Fever and all that jazz, and like buy this one, get this percentage off of that, and like Salt and Sanctuary was in that lineup, right? I would love it to see, and I know this would never happen at Sony, and even at Microsoft, probably not, because you worry about alienating people, right? And relationships and business things, not personal feelings. But if PlayStation could exist and they could totally invest in Sid's team, Justin and Ryan, right? Of like, you guys can have very vocal opinions. We're not going to hate that. And maybe it's a different team, but a personality-driven team where it could be you go to the store and it is every week there's an update and it's like Ryan's pick, Sid's pick, Justin's pick, or picks of like, all right, cool. Hey, if you have this is what you should get this week. And like, otherwise it is you have to listen to IGN or us or whoever, your respected peers that you care about in the industry, and see what they want and find it all your own. But that doesn't help the consumer who jumps into the new releases on PlayStation and it's just and it's all shitty and it's like all these DLC costumes in front to get to the new game that is over here, and it's like, well, what the hell is that?
And I think in a weird way what's taken over that place has been PlayStation Plus, because that is kind of the free games on there, because that is them saying like, these are the games that we're kind of championing, right? Even though there's like business deals behind it, and it's not necessary. I mean, there was business deal based on every one of these promotional things ever done, right? But like, it feels a little bit less pure. It feels like more of a, okay, we're kind of in on this as well with them. So maybe them also having a separate thing where they're highlighting good games ends up running counter to that in terms of messaging. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, like I just hope it doesn't get worse, because right now there's a lot of crap there.
I think it's going to. I think it's going to get more and more, especially as more and more people are not. I don't see it as negatively as Colin does, because I do think there are plenty of developers out there who are trying, and the game isn't great, sure. Yeah. But why shouldn't they have the shot to do that? But it is. I think there's going to, as more and more people not run to it in terms of. Hey, there's money to be made here if we make a crappy game and put a platinum in it. More people going like, all right, cool, I'm going to try. The tools are getting cheaper. They're getting easier to use. It's going to be easier for me to get stuff in. I think you'll see more and more stuff, but then it just does become there needs to be a solution. But then you find things like, the Vita Lounge or IGN or whoever who's reviewing games, or just word of mouth or streamers or however it's going to be. I want to check in with the readers, Danny.
All right.
Now, it's funny. because you mentioned that they're PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
I have a question here about PlayStation Plus that I think you're going to enjoy.
Ooh.
Again, remember, if you want to be part of the show, kindoffunny.com/PSQ to get your question read on the air. This one comes from Rob Man in Batten. What's up, everybody? If you didn't know, Christ, I don't know how you guys do that every day. A big, friendly ass hello from Ireland.
What up, Rob, man?
I wanted to run something by you guys about PlayStation Plus, so let me lay it on you like your boy Colin M lays mayo on an unsuspecting culinary delight. So I'm a fairly casual gamer who likes to follow the goings of the industries. I play a handful of games every year and try to pick a mix of AAA and smaller titles so I can be part of the discussion. When I got my PlayStation 4, I signed up to PlayStation Plus and availed of a few free games, which was great. So what does availed mean that way?
Availed?
Yeah. And availed of a few free games.
I took advantage of.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that.
No? Is that an Irish thing now?
I don't know. Kevin, have you ever heard availed used that way? Shaking your head no?
Availed
Right.
yourself?
Well, now, Kevin and I are stupid, though, so
Right.
easily.
I don't know. I get tripped up on that stuff all the time. I realized that I've been saying
start
something that nobody knows.
Putting slang, yeah. I've now got quite a backlog of games to play, so I decided to not pay for my PlayStation Plus subscription this year. Sits down to play some sweet-ass Rocket League. What in the name of all that is sacred? What is the shit is this? I've now been locked out of the games I received through PlayStation Plus, such as Rocket League and Super Meat Boy, which were my go-to games for wasting half an hour here or there. I know PlayStation Plus is a sweet deal, but do you guys think it's fair that by opting out, I lose access to these games? Thanks for the most resonant gaming conversation on the World Wide Web. Love always, Rob Man and Batten. Then he puts in parentheses, Batman and Robin, but switch Bat for Rob, because that's how much time we have on our hands with the shitty internet connections in rural Ireland.
Wait, does he say where he's from?
Rural Ireland is
Just rural Ireland. Just rural Ireland.
The rural juror.
Everywhere, the rural juror. I watched 30 Rock for the first time this year, actually.
Oh, wow.
Mainlined the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
It was great.
I mean,
everywhere in Ireland's rural Ireland, just, except for Dublin.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so he could be anywhere.
I mean, I wish I could help you here, and I'm gonna call you Rob Man. Rob Man, I wish I could help you, but no, that's been the thing from the beginning, and that's the subscription service part of it. Now, the good news is that you could plunk down. If you figure that out, you plunk down for 1 month, play whatever you need to play off your thing, and then keep coming back. The games you redeemed are still redeemed to your account. You can go back and get them, but I feel for you. It was mainly that you're Ireland and he's Irish. I wanted to get something in here.
Yeah, I remember what it was like having to really be very, 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 very picky about the games that I bought. Because when you're especially when I was in college, for instance, not having any sort of income to do it, and also not having your parents sort of be able to help you out as much as they used to. But I think that probably shocked him because he didn't realize it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when you sort of look at it in terms of any other streaming service, like if you had Amazon Video or Spotify and you listen to, you didn't buy the latest, Deftones album because you wanted to, this literally happened to me, you wanted to listen to it on Spotify, and then you stop your subscription, and then, or for me, it was I had to buy the Taylor Swift one, right? Because that was the only way to get it was on iTunes on the music. So I think it's you gotta remember that's you were having, it's a really good deal when you got it, and then when you don't, I guess if those are games that you want to go back and play, you gotta remember they're not part of your catalog. But then is anything ever going to be part of our catalog? Like the PS3 to PS4 transition, there was stuff lost in the mix there as well.
We lost a lot of stuff. Yeah,
so the idea of those libraries being there forever is a sort of fading slowly.
We always talk about the digital future here and how we think that's the thing, but it does bring up a good thing of ownership of PT, right? If that gets removed, okay, cool. It can live on your system forever, but if your system dies and you get a new system, and that was the big thing when people were getting their PlayStation 4 Pros of would the transfer actually bring it over? And it does, but that's a scary thing in terms of what does that all mean and how does that all happen?
Yeah, I was looking at PlayStations on eBay, and there were people selling ones with PT on it for higher than the other ones.
Making a huge deal about it.
It's crazy. I've got PT on my one as well. I'm terrified to do anything with it.
Danny, I got 2 ones for you.
Do it.
To end this.
Yeah. Here we go.
Troy J.
What
will PlayStation do from a marketing point of view when Scorpio is released? I don't think they're going to do much of anything. I don't think they're going to drop the price of the Pro. I don't think they'll continue to do commercials like they do now, Greatness Awaits and all that jazz, but I don't think they're going to make it. I think if anything, when Scorpio's released next year, if that's what actually ends up happening, we'll see if they actually stick to it. It'll be more of a, how did they do it? Wait and see what's happening. Where are we?
There's too many things up in the air. The price is a big one. The power is obviously the other one. In a way, I feel like if this is if what we're hearing about the proposed sort of teraflopness of it is true, then it's going to be so far ahead of the PlayStation Pro that they almost don't have to worry about it. Like, it's not like they're necessarily competing against it.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then it becomes a price war, right? Then they're like, oh yeah, sure, you can play that and get all those games that it runs that much better, but like probably only the first party ones are going to really take advantage of it. The rest of the stuff is already looking really good on our systems, and it'll cost you $150 or $200 less. So I don't know. Like I think in a way, if they don't compete with them, then they don't make it a narrative of the two things competing, unless they can get an in, which will be the price.
If they can get a foothold, right? Yeah, like this is why we're the better option, sure. But I mean, for me, the big thing is like, what about PlayStation Pro right now? Like PlayStation, like where's the marketing for it right now? Like, you don't know that system's out if you're not that person. If you're not, and you look at the bundles they're putting on TV, the ones I'm seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing Slims. I'm not seeing that when I see like, again, but I guess I'm not seeing them in general. I'm thinking the last night I caught during The Walking Dead, I saw that Greatness Awaits commercial. There wasn't one there, but I could have sworn I saw a bundle, but I should take that back. I don't know. But I'm not seeing any PlayStation on there. So why, how would anyone know about the market?
What I want to do is go into a GameStop and see what happens when you talk to like a point of sale person, right?
Sure.
Because like, to me, it's weird. To me, what I think is happening is that the PlayStation Pro is coming out and we're kind of looking at it as an upsell thing because, this is a PlayStation podcast and like we work in the games world of games coverage and we own all these consoles and blah, 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 blah. I think the reality of what that system is that it's an upsell to people who haven't bought a PlayStation yet.
Yeah.
Who are like, you're not buying this piece of hardware that's now 2.5 years old. It doesn't feel as special anymore. You're spending probably what we would have spent. You've already saved the money not spending it in the past 2 years. And here it's an even better one. It's actually better than everyone else's. Like, it's the iPhone 5S to iPhone 5 of consoles. Yeah. And I think that's the right way to do it. And I'm not sure if that's also what Microsoft are doing, because what they're doing
they're making it sound like it's a new thing.
They're making it looks like because obviously the Xbox One as well underperforming in comparison to the PlayStation 4, and it does look more like a sizable jump. And I think the messaging on that is messy because that is the one that makes me feel like my Xbox One is going to be worth dirt. Yeah. Whereas the PlayStation Pro, I'm more than happy for that to exist, and I'm kind of fine with my current PS4 at the moment. And I think them releasing it before Christmas with PlayStation makes sense. If they're going to do it around the sort of Q1, Q2 kind of spot where they are still aiming for like March, April, isn't it?
Oh, no. We're going to hear for the Scorpio?
Yeah.
No. Scorpio, we're supposed to hear more at E3, I thought, and then it comes out next fall.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense, I think, as well, that it is sort of an upsell kind of thing.
You're going to get that Switch hotness in March.
Yeah, sorry, that's coming in March. Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
The rumors out of that seem like the price point will be good as well.
Yeah. Well, let's just make the battery good. That's all I want.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I feel like... Yeah, well, it'll be the specificities of the cost and the power are going to lead. Sony will lead on that. Yeah.
Final reader mail comes from Angel Fire. He says, "Hi, Colin and Greg.
Hey, what's up?
I appreciate everything you guys do to make my mornings that much more awesome. After listening to you guys for many years, I've noticed how Colin has recently started saying things like, quote, I don't care. I don't own stock in insert game company here, end quote.
I do say that a lot.
Yeah. Why not? Is Colin not interested in investing in his future, or is there some moral quandary that prevents Colin from investing specifically in gaming exposed companies? Well, Angel Fire, I mean, the answer's kind of simple there, right? It's the fact of how would you believe anything we ever said again if we owned stock in if I owned stock in PlayStation, right? And then I was on this thing and I was constantly, that's a weird example, I guess, because I always talk about PlayStation, but you know what I mean? Like, if I owned Activision stock and I was like, Call of Duty is so much better than Battlefield, how could you believe me? Because clearly I have a personal interest, a vested interest in that. Right now, as it stands, we like trophies. We like the Vita. Yeah. That's our investment in PlayStation, so why you should listen to us.
I love when this question always comes up, and I don't even like, how do you buy stock in these? Like, I know you can buy like small amounts of stock on like publicly traded companies, but like, even if you wanted to, it's like you throw in $1,000 and you save up all this money and you put it in, and then in like a year it's worth like an extra $70. It's like, I don't know. I hate the world of
Sony stock.
Sony. What? You want to buy Sony stock?
No, I had Sony stock.
You had Sony stock?
I have still Sony stock. I bought it right after all that bad stuff happened with Sony.
He's not allowed
the PSN outage.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And I bought it at like $11, and I sold it at like $32.
Really?
That's how I bought my VR
tripled?
unit. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I take it back.
I mean, that's how stocks work.
Clearly,
you buy them cheap, you do that. You know what I mean? Granted, I own Virgin America stock. I'm always talking about how great Virgin America is. Everybody knew that though beforehand. I bought the stock long before. I've been talking about Virgin America long before I bought the stock.
Okay.
And again, that's a bit different. I don't know if I'm influencing the airline industry, but on a game like we made we made Taco Master chart, right? So if I somehow own stock in Taco Master and then I was telling you about stuff, and it's the same thing with that Call of Duty betting bullshit, you know what I mean?
Right.
Kevin, I guess, can own whatever the fuck he wants because nobody listens to Kevin. He doesn't talk about games.
What about Portillo's? You any stock in
I
Portillo's?
wish, God, can you imagine? Jesus.
Cash it in for meat.
Danny, are you ready to meet your best friend of the week?
Sure, let's do it.
This is a segment we call P.S. I Love This Best Friend XOXO. It's where one of you goes to kindafunny.com/forums, submits your PSN name, and then why you need friends. And they send you new friend requests, and they send you nice messages. And
Spam.
the best friends are all best friends is what happens. This one comes from King Franchise. It's not for himself.
Oh.
But I like it all the same. And I think we actually already answered the question, but stick with me because I'm going to have to, it's buried in here.
Okay.
But it's a fun little story. As I write this, I'm watching my 64-year-old dad play PS4 for the first time, and not just any PS4. It's his own personal console. He's seen me play for years now, but never really had any interest in picking up a controller himself until the PSVR came to town. I secured myself a VR on launch day and have been enjoying greatly. My dad decided he wanted to give it a shot and has been hooked ever since he put on the headset. He's been through the entire PSVR World's disc and dabbled in Batman VR. I plan on buying him his own VR for Christmas, but for now he's decided to test the waters on a few of my games. I wasn't too sure which game to start him off on, but based on everything I have and how challenging it is, I decided to start him off with Ratchet & Clank. Okay. It's fun, has great graphics, isn't too punishing, and is probably the simplest game I own. This leads me to my questions, he says, but it's like, do you think PSVR has the potential to bridge gamers and non-gamers? We kind of touched on that with the moms and Thanksgiving. That'll be coming around, and then all this stuff. And then what do we think of his game selection? I think that's a great game selection.
Yeah, that's a great show.
But to the heart of PS I Love This Best Friend XO, he says, and one more thing. His PSN name is Old Man Walkin'. That's OLEMANWALKIN.
Strong name.
He puts in parentheses, not bad, right? He came up with it on his own, no help from me. Thanks for everything and keep up the tremendous work, Andrew Francis. I think we should all go be friends with Old Man Walkin'.
That's great.
That's awesome. A 64-year-old man playing Ratchet & Clank somewhere. Ted Price. Very excited about this announcement. Very excited about all this stuff that's happening.
Old man walking. You think?
Yeah, that's how he says it every time he turns it on. I'm like, Dad, just play the game. Shut up. This week's Forgotten PlayStation game comes from Riley Delete. Riley Delete wrote in and said, hey there, guys. I'm a big fan, and you guys keep on getting better. Your quality is so awesome, I decided to become a patron. Thank you very much. Don't forget about NoClip. Anyway, I'd like to submit my personal pick for what I think deserves to be the Forgotten PlayStation Game of the Week. It's a charming platform puzzler on the PS3 named PID. P-I-D.
I played this.
Or
Yes.
Planet in Distress, follows the adventures of a young boy named Kurt after he falls asleep on an interstellar bus and becomes stranded on a strange world. It quickly appears that something is wrong on this planet, and Kurt embarks on a journey to find a way to get home. In brief, the game is fantastic, having a unique platforming aspect based on gravity manipulation, as well as a surprisingly good story. Add on what is perhaps one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard, courtesy of the band called Retro Family, and you have a great package for a good price. There's even an unlockable hard mode, difficult collectibles, and trials to keep you coming back. I know Colin reviewed this game, and his review is the reason I bought it. Years later, with the game on all my consoles, I can safely say #Colin was right. Thanks, guys. Keep being funny and awesome, Riley.
Great shout. That game was great.
I believe it was a PS3 one to begin with.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
But then he throws me with on all his consoles, so I don't know where
it's probably come out in Steam.
What it's available.
Yeah.
That's baby game. You don't really like Steam,
that's a great game. It had like gorgeous like environmental like lighting effects and stuff. It was always looked like it was watercolor.
Yeah, I watched a trailer of it, and I think I either remember playing it when Colin was doing stuff or just watching and talking to him about it. But yeah.
Some people didn't like it because it had the like floaty little big planety kind of like, stuff. But I was into it. Yeah.
Good.
It was cool.
There you go. I'm glad I got your seal of approval.
Great shout.
Yeah, the good one. Good one. PSN's worst name of the week. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is another segment where you go to kindoffunny.com/forums, submit a bad PSN name. We maybe read it here. Then you get to put in this weird battle royale voting system they do, turns out.
Can I tell you a bad one, actually?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like I'm throwing under the bus. I'm so sorry, Mary. Mary Kish, when she wants the PS the PlayStation like
Name
update name
change?
thing more than anyone.
Because we always beg Shuhei, please let us change our
Right.
names.
And I think it was because she didn't have a PSN account when she joined GameSpot, so she made one really quickly one day.
Yeah.
And it was like almost auto-generated. And I don't even know what it is, but it's basically like MK and then like a string of 8 numbers. It's like almost her social security or something. It's just like MK,
Her
like
phone number.
814171. So whenever you're like trying to like, yeah, exactly. So whenever you're trying to add her, she like doesn't remember what it is, and you have to go find out what the fucking thing is.
Kish,
and then
come
send you a
on.
text. Yeah, it sucks.
Well, this one comes from a man named DW. We'll say man. I don't know. I have to guess sometimes.
DW.
DW writes in and says, hello, Colin and Greg.
Hey.
First time, long time. Back in October 2000, I was eagerly awaiting the release of the PS2. Around the same time, I was really into the band Presidents of the United States of America. As you may know, their song Lump is a little ditty, but once you hear it, you have a hard time getting it out of your head. One day, Lump was stuck in my head, and I started rambling off words that rhyme with lump. I stumbled onto the made-up word quump. That's with a Q. And I was immediately drawn to it. Weeks later, when I picked up my reserved PS2, I booted up Time Splitters and decided to name my character Mr. Quump. I have since used Mr. Quump for all of my gaming needs, including my 9-year-old PSN account.
Wow.
Now, this isn't bad so far,
Okay.
because we've had really bad ones, right?
All
You know
right,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like stupid kids being racist. Over the years, I've grown accustomed to people taking liberties with my name, most notably Mr. Dump, which I now wear as a badge of honor. However, since the election, my Overwatch crew has taken to calling me Mr. Trump, knowing it irks me endlessly. I fundamentally disagree with Mr. Trump on almost every issue, and I just dislike him. So being compared / referenced to him does not bring any enjoyment whatsoever. The next 4 years were already going to be rough for me, and now my favorite form of escapism is now tainted. I know I should just be a bigger person and not let it bother me, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Please, Shuhei, let us change our names.
Yeah.
Thanks. DW / Mr. Dump.
Do it for all the Democrats out there, the world of video games,
They've all been
and
dumped
all the
on.
Republicans who hate Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. That's a bad one.
That is a bad one.
Yeah.
For-
Did you have any like that? That sounds to me like when you were in primary school or whatever you guys, elementary school.
Yeah.
And your surname. Did you have any like Miller like taking a piss out of you because you were like, oh, more like Greg Spiller?
Oh,
Like
sure.
Greg-
I'm sure
Greg
there's stuff
Shitter.
like that. Yeah. I had a mole behind my ear.
Okay.
And they call me Mole.
Like Molly.
Yeah. No,
Like,
just Mole.
Was
Just
that
Mole.
hard when that? What was the movie?
No, because I was long gone by then.
Right.
That's like a childhood thing,
Okay.
and then eventually
Just
I was
called
like,
you Mole.
yeah.
Fucking.
But it's like the bully, the grade above you, or whatever.
Right.
Just
Hey,
do it.
Mole.
Yeah, exactly kind of shit.
yeah.
And then I had a friend. I've told this story before in summer camp who called me Spud, but it was a term of endearment.
Oh.
and I did like that one.
because what you do?
Don't know.
Spud-like
Just I
qualities.
well, I mean, look at me. Yeah, I got plenty of Spud like qualities, Danny. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been PS I Love You XOXO. It is kindafunny.com's PlayStation podcast. So go there, subscribe to the other YouTube channels, watch the other podcasts, enjoy the content. It is the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet, and it posts every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on podcast services around the globe, along with youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Remember, Danny is from No Clip.
I am when I'm not being Colin Moriarty.
Thank you very much for taking on this tremendous opportunity of being Colin Moriarty.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you so
Anytime.
much.
Everybody go subscribe to No Clip, the
Thanks for having
YouTube
me on.
channels, back them on Patreon. Go to thegameawards.com, vote for Danny for Trending Gamer of the Year 2016, and we'll keep seeding
it
this.
in-house.
We'll never let this award go.
Thanks so
Angry
much
Joe
to
will be
everyone.
so much angrier.
Thanks so much to everyone who has already. I can't thank you enough. It means a lot.
Remember, this week, Thanksgiving, if you're hearing the
Hmm.
Thursday of Thanksgiving through Monday, we have a t-shirt sale going on, or not t-shirt sale, but a t-shirt event going on at kindafunny.com/store. You can go there and get all the exclusive, T-shirt Tuesday things from before. You got them from last year. You got some of the ones from this year. There's cool stuff happening over there. Remember, PSX is happening Sunday. 12/4 is our panel at noon. Saturday before at 12/3, we'll be doing pre-show, post-show reaction stuff here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. And that Sunday after the noon panel for PS I Love You XOXO, there's a meet and greet
Right.
at 1 p.m.
And then you can take a break.
Then it just totally chills out. Except for the fact that we're taking 2 weeks off at the end of the month. So it's like 2-a-days for podcasts.
Oh yeah, totally.
No
Yeah,
big deal. I'm
yeah.
sure the content won't suffer at all.
Same this week, right? Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, no. Tomorrow's GOG and Gamescast back to back.
Well,
Got
Crown.
Alfredo Diaz coming in here. Oh. Hey guys, I look really cool. I'm a really nice guy. My girlfriend's hot. I have a great life. Everything's amazing.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I'm
It's
super nice to everybody. Alfredo, I'm good at games too. I'm really good at games. This fucking guy.
Yeah.
Every episode of PS I Love You XOXO ends in a song in a segment we call Singing a Shuhei. This is where one of you marvelous motherfuckers goes to kindafunny.com/PSM, leaves a song for me. You made this song. I need an MP3 download link to put at the end of our MP3, and I need your YouTube video to annotate from our YouTube video. Today's comes from someone returning. This is the legendary Zoltan.
Oh my God.
Legendary
The Zoltan?
The Zoltan, the legendary Zoltan, is back, and he writes, "Hello, Colin and Greg."
Hey.
Actually says Greg and Colin.
Oh.
I
Hey.
screwed it up.
It's all right.
It's okay.
I'll take it.
Thanks so much for playing my Final Fantasy Tactics death metal song. I ask you yet again, wouldn't you rather hear songs that have something to do with PlayStation on your PlayStation podcast? Of course you would. Of course everyone would. I got a whole bunch of comments, parentheses like 10 of them, saying that they always skip singing in Shuhei, but not this time, because they were dying to listen to some mother-destroying Final Fantasy Tactics death metal. And you'll be interested to know that they all said that they were not disappointed. I'm telling you guys, PlayStation players need PlayStation metal. So I offer a service to this community. Post somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe in the comments of the SoundCloud file or on the YouTube video of today's song, a PlayStation game you'd like to hear metalized, and I'll make whatever it is. I'll make whatever is the most popular for you guys. That ought to tide you over until the Valkyrie Profile death metal album comes out. Oh my God. Music and lyrics are done. Now I search for the recruitable musicians to record it. So look forward to that. Today, I bring you Armored Core Death Metal. It's freaking amazing. Enjoy. I will see you all again. Love, the legendary Zoltan.
It's a good fit.
He nails it.
Yeah.
He writes in with character. Last time he was like, usually I'm like, oh, nobody gave me I make fun of people for not giving me a website to promote. And last time he was like, just search the legendary Zoltan and you'll find it.
You'll find me.
It's like, damn, legendary Zoltan,
Top
you laying
villain.
people out. I like that a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, thank you to Danny O'Dwyer for being a human being that I love very much and being good to us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, legendary Zoltan, for this song. Here it is, Armored Core Death Metal. Hold on to your ass. When you get the blues, come on and get a rhythm. When you get the blues.
Is that Credence?
Nah, Johnny Cash.
Oh.
You all set, Kev Bidog?
What was last week? What were we singing last week?
Me?
Oh, no, Colin was singing something last week.
Oh,
in between questions.
Yeah.
Beach
Good
Boys. That
vibrations.
was,
Good
yeah,
vibrations.
yeah.
It's been tearing the community apart if he was on rhythm or not.
No, he was too slow at the start.
Thank you very much. That's what I said.
But when you started singing it, I literally was thinking, are you singing a different song?
Yeah.
Because it did sound like it was
All right, fuck you, Danny. Here you go. You
Okay.
all set? You
Yeah.
all set over there? Clomping around? Getting your footrest up, like where your head's at.